You're entering the VSiN Green Zone, the show that breaks down all the games with a twist. From the point spreads to the totals and everything in between, we've got you covered. Keep up to date on the latest in sports gaming news at VSiN.com. And now, the Green Zone.
Welcome to the Green Zone. Matt Humans and Kenny White for the next 3 hours. Live from the South Point Sportsbook. If you are watching on VSiN.com right now, you're not seeing anything because the live stream is down. It'll be back up soon. We have a group of hardworking technicians at the controls right now trying to get the video back up. Huh?
I almost knocked myself out with the headphones. I went to put them on, and they snapped and hit me right in the eye. So you almost didn't have me as well.
That's the voice of Kenny White. And like I said, we'll be here for the next 3 hours. We'll be watching golf during the Green Zone 2 as we are right now. The PGA second round in progress. And the leader, Gary Woodland, has just hit into the water. So we're going to have either a three-way tie or a new leader here very soon. And we'll update the PGA. But, Kenny, have you taken much time this weekend to watch the year's final golf major?
I've watched 0 seconds of it so far. I just don't have time. I wish I did to follow golf. The most I follow golf is when I'm in here on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, and that's the most golf talk I get. And I just, kind of use my common sense with some of the players that I've known from the past and following and knowing the good players and where they're rated and, just kind of form some type of opinion. But I thought we talked about Woodland, maybe the guy that maybe fall apart here and, some of the better players, higher-ranked players sneak up and catch him.
Yeah, I thought yesterday when I was on with you and Vinny Maiulo on My Guys in the Desert, I thought Woodland and Kistner might fade a little bit heading into the weekend. Those were the two guys at the top of the leaderboard, Gary Woodland and Kevin Kistner. You said you've been so busy. So what have you been doing? Like pumping iron? You've been out hanging out at the bars, chasing girls? What are you up to?
I wish. That'd be fun, right? Yeah, you know what it's all about this time of year, getting ready for college football.
Yeah.
Get those numbers and try to figure out how good each team is and try to beat the number.
130 college football teams, and how far have you gotten on your research?
I'm probably still a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
Still, I've got a lot of work done. I got a lot of ratings done, and I need to put together ATS and that type of stuff, home and away, to finish all that up. And there's probably about 30 more teams I've got to handicap.
Good news for you is the season kicks off 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, I'll be ready. Believe me, I've had some years I'll be working on teams that after the season starts, I'll still be doing some work on some teams that may not play the first week, but the last 4 or 5 years, I've done a pretty good job of getting everybody done before the season starts. So this year I'm later than last year.
Let's say Hawaii, Colorado State. There's some decent games on that first Saturday.
Oh, Colorado State looks really good. Yeah. Looks like a good team.
Hawaii does not look very good.
No, Hawaii's lacking talent, and they might need June Jones back, pull him out of the CFL and bring him back to Hawaii.
Might not be a bad idea. He's not really winning with Hamilton Tiger
Cats
right now.
Not.
All right, so PGA, the year's final major. Third round underway, and we had a weather delay yesterday. Play was postponed, so I was up early this morning to watch the final few players out there on the course for the second round. And Ricky Fowler had a nice finish to round 2. He birdied number 17, had a nice par putt to nice save, par save on the 18th to go in at 8 under. Right now, we'll give you the updated leaderboard from Belle Rive Country Club in St. Louis, and it's Gary Woodland at 10 under. But as I said, he just hit into the water, so he's going to be taking a step back here. Brooks Koepka, the back-to-back U.S. Open champion, at 9 under with Kevin Kistner. Right there at 8 under, Justin Thomas, the defending champ, and Ricky Fowler also at 8 under. At 7 under, you have Jason Day, Shane Lowry, Dustin Johnson, the tournament favorite, at 7 under. And you got to be a little bit worried about him if you're a guy like me and you have Jason Day, Brooks Koepka, and Ricky Fowler. So Woodland and Kistner atop the leaderboard at Belle Rive, and we have Koepka, Fowler, DJ, Day, plenty of guys in hot pursuit, plenty of top players here. Phil Mickelson missed the cut, along with the past 2 Masters champs, Patrick Reed and Sergio Garcia. They missed the cut. So did Bubba Watson, Henrik Stenson. Plenty of big-name players missed the cut. Tiger Woods is in the hunt. Tiger's on the prowl here on PGA Moving Day. He is at 7 under. So Tiger's come out hot here to start the third round. And it looks like he's only going to be 2 strokes off the lead at 7 under right now. Defending champ Justin Thomas shot a 65 in the second round. He was at 6 under and 4 back going into this third round today in St. Louis. So we're going to have one hell of a finish to this major.
Time to get some Tiger Woods maybe minus $1.40 over Phil for their one-on-one match, because Tiger's playing so much better. I mean, look at, here he is again. Every week he continues to get better, and he's far better than Phil Mickelson right now.
Mickelson's a mess.
He's 2-3 strokes better maybe than Mickelson. He's at least a stroke and a half around. He may be, this maybe should be a stroke thing by now. Tiger minus 3 strokes. But have they mentioned the format yet?
It's just going to be head-to-head.
It is just head-to-head.
I believe it's head-to-head.
Yeah.
It's going to be Thanksgiving weekend at Shadow Creek. The Showdown at Shadow Creek is my name for it. And like you said, Tiger anywhere between a 140, 150 favorite, right in that neighborhood over Phil. And I don't know how much money's going to be on the line. I don't think any of their money's going to be on the line, but supposedly it's somewhere between 5 and 10 million Thanksgiving weekend. I don't think, Kenny, the betting handle is going to be that great on the Shadow Creek Showdown because of Phil just being in poor form at this point. I mean, how much of an attraction is it to watch Phil play Tiger head-to-head at this point? Tiger's always going to draw eyes to TV sets and betting interest and people to the windows. I don't think Phil is much of an attraction right now.
No, it's 10 years too late with these guys who were in their top playing form 10 years ago. But I still think you're going to get great action. I don't know if it's,
You're going to get great action on a weekend where you have college football, college basketball, and the NFL?
I think so, yeah, because it's a specialty once-in-a-lifetime deal.
It's not once in a lifetime.
You're
going to do it again next summer.
You think they're going to do it? They've never done it before?
You're going to do it again next summer.
They've never done it. Have they planned to do it next summer?
Yeah, they've talked about making this a series. Get some other players involved. And like you said, though, it's 10 years, Tiger, once in a lifetime, but it's 10 years too late.
It's Tiger, and it is Phil Mickelson. He's still got a big name, and people love to bet those guys. And I think they will. I think people throw $20 down on it just to watch it in between their football games. Why not?
$20 is not a big handle.
Everybody out there in every casino throwing $20 on it. They're all going to be betting it.
I think it'll be a decent handle. I don't have high expectations. I talked to Jeff Sherman over the Westgate, asked him what he thought. He said not much at all. He doesn't expect much of a handle. I think the timing's off. If you did this in the summer, Kenny, let's say around July 4th, and had it on prime time, yeah, I think you would get a really big handle.
I didn't check what are the limits right now.
What's that?
What are the limits? Betting limits right now?
$20.
Yeah, okay. So it's not going to be a hard time having a high handle with $20.
Probably $1,000. I think I would say $1,000. 500 nickel to a dime would be the limits at most books. And
surprised. Why not take 5 dimes right now? You got a good number.
Maybe you should run a book around.
You got a good number.
Huh?
Get some more people betting it.
Did you bet it?
No, I didn't bet.
Oh, okay.
I don't study it. I don't study golf.
Just said lay the number with Tiger.
What I'm watching now every single week, Tiger's way better than Phil.
Tiger's really making a lot more improvement than most people anticipated this year. No question. He's in the hunt right now. 3 strokes back of Brooks Koepka, the new leader, at 10 under. Look at Koepka, the back-to-back U.S. Open winner, is on a roll, playing really well. I've got Koepka at 20-1. I've got Ricky Fowler at 20-1 and Jason Day at 20-1. So I got 3 guys in the hunt at 20-1. I just hope one of those guys cashes a ticket this weekend. I've had the second-place finisher, Kenny, in the first 3 majors.
That is amazing.
This season. All right, let's go to NFL. Last night, John Gruden returned to the black hole, made his I guess I almost said debut as Raiders coach, but this is his second tour of duty as Raiders coach. And I listened to Brent Musburger call this game on radio last night, watched it on local Fox. Not much excitement for the most part, but it was great to hear Brent call the game and see John Gruden out there coaching. Raiders 16, Lions 10. Raiders cover. Score stays well under the total. And Derek Carr did not do much last night. No Matthew Stafford for the Lions. Derek Carr, 2 for 4, 11 yards. Connor Cook, really the offensive star for the Raiders, 11 for 19, 141 yards passing and a TD. And not a whole lot to take away from this last night except for, Kenny, it was a really bland offensive attack for both teams. You didn't dig too deep into the playbooks. You didn't see the starting quarterbacks for more, like I said, no Stafford, no Carr for more than a series. And you had a low-scoring game where the home favorite wins and covers.
And it all comes down to turnovers again, too, because E.J. Manuel drove his team right down the field, and he fumbles on the inside the 5-yard line.
Fumbled the snap.
And Detroit recovered. That if you had the total over, you needed that touchdown, and if you had the Raiders, you obviously wanted that score. But I think that slowed things down. First day, 9-2 over. Now we're 9-4 to the over in the first 13 NFL games so far. Jets look good yesterday, and everybody knew it. Everybody knew what the Jets had in their quarterback rotation. Teddy Bridgewater and Sam Darnold getting the most playing time. Both did a nice job. Bridgewater did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
He could battle McCown. McCown had an unbelievable year last year. 39 years old, best year of his career.
No doubt.
And now Teddy Bridgewater's back, one more year removed from surgery. Those two guys are going to battle it out head-to-head to see who wins it.
Well, I think what's going to happen, and last night Matt Ryan and Josh McCown each played one series and each attempted one pass. What's going to happen here, Teddy Bridgewater was 7 for 8, 85 yards and a touchdown. I think McCown's going to be the backup or the starter to open the season, and Sam Darnold, the rookie from USC, is going to be the starter or the backup to open the season. Those are your 1-2. And the Jets will see if there's a trade market out there for Teddy Bridgewater, because I think teams like Seattle, I want to say Carolina, I'll even say New England, there's got to be some sort of market for Teddy Bridgewater the way he's played.
They don't really have to go far. They could just call the Giants up and ship him across the border.
Well, Davis Webb's the guy the Giants want to concentrate on, their potential quarterback of the future. Now, he was 9 for 22, I think, in the opening game a couple nights ago. But you're not going to give up on a guy like that, even if he plays poorly throughout the preseason. Davis Webb is going to be Manning's number 2. I just think there are other teams.
Buffalo Bills could use him, but they got Josh Allen. So,
right.
I mean, there's teams I'm just looking at my quarterback ratings, and one of the lower ratings I have as a starting quarterback on any team is Case Keenum with the Denver Broncos. He had a career year last year, and I still was not able to upgrade him enough. He's like in the bottom tier of my quarterbacks, and then Patrick Mahomes for Kansas City is another one. Mitchell Trubisky, A.J. McCarron, a starting quarterback. So probably my bottom. Ryan Fitzpatrick, now that he's filling in for Jameis Winston, is the worst starting quarterback. But that's my bottom 5 right now.
Give us your bottom 5 one more time, and start with the guy 5 spots up from the bottom. Would that be Case Keenum?
Ryan Fitzpatrick's the bottom.
He's the bottom?
Yeah,
okay.
And then A.J. McCarron right now.
I can see that.
Those are the bottom 2.
Where's Patrick Mahomes?
Mitch Trubisky then fits in that next spot. But you got to give him a break.
I
don't have Brady. I do too.
He's got a lot more weapons around him this year too. And he's got a coach who's going to let him play.
I only have Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers 5.5 points better than him. Okay. But he's still on the bottom rung of quarterbacks because of lack of experience.
No question. But
now teams have film on him, and everybody keeps saying that. Oh, the guy had a good year, but wait till year 2 because everybody's got film on him. So here's Mitch Trubisky in year 2.
You don't have much film because John Fox had him handing off the entire time, and he had no weapons last year. You're going to see a different offense with Matt Nagy in charge in Chicago.
There's no doubt about that. But you know what happens when teams that are bad do that? Week 3, they go to handing the ball off. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what they do because they lose the first 2 games 40-10, and their defense is on the field the entire time. Patrick Mahomes in my bottom 5. Case Keenum is tied with Patrick Mahomes. Is that 5?
That's 5.
We had the bottom 5.
We had Ben Lieber on the Between the Sidelines football show previous to this today, and he talked, I think, in more optimistic terms about Case Keenum, who Lieber is the Vikings color analyst. Now, I watched him last season. The Broncos host the Vikings in the preseason tonight. We'll talk more about that game coming up here soon. But I think Case Keenum, he had 22 TD passes, 7 interceptions last season. That was the best season of his career. Obviously, he was surrounded by a very good team. John Elway thinks something of him, right? He signed him as a free agent thinking that he could clean up that mess at quarterback. Last year, the 3 Broncos quarterbacks, who I call the 3 Stooges, combined for 19 TD passes and 22 interceptions. Case Keenum threw 7 picks last year and 22 TD passes. I just like Keenum, I think, is much more of a leader. Yeah, he's going to take some chances. He's a gambler, a gunslinger. He's going to throw a few picks here and there. But I think the Broncos are in a position to be one of the most improved teams in the NFL. Last night we talked about the Jets, Falcons, and easy money for Jets backers, and I did play the Jets last night too. They were 4-point favorites. They were steamed up. They won the game 17-0. And the Falcons, Dan Quinn was winless in the preseason last year. He said going into last night's game that he was not going to play his frontline guys. Julio Jones did not play. Matt Ryan played a series. Dan Quinn's quote was, "We're committed to looking at the first-year guys and the young guys." He didn't care about that game. And, Kenny, that's one of the great angles when you're betting the preseason. The Jets had a competitive quarterback situation they were going to feature last night, and the Falcons did not give a damn about the game. Dan Quinn did not show up caring one bit if the Falcons won that game.
And it shows. And, you know, I've always said you look at these preseason games, you can find some good angles. Regular season, Falcons at the Jets. Falcons are going to be 3.5, 4-point favorite. We got an 8-point jump because of we know who the players are playing. We know who's trying and who wants to win the game. I'm high on the Falcons now. You know, I hate to say things. I am
too.
You know, when you're doing shows like this and you don't have all your work done and you read stuff, and you know, one thing I read early was that teams that have a disappointing Super Bowl fall apart and don't do well. Seattle had one, Atlanta had one, but now I've got Atlanta rated, and I've got them rated as one of the top teams in the NFC. I think they're one of the best teams. I think they're as good as the Eagles right now. And I think Matt Ryan is right there with the top quarterbacks. I think I've got right now, my quarterback ratings are Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers are the 1 and 2 best quarterbacks tied in the NFL right now.
Really?
And I've got Atlanta as high as Philadelphia. So I said something earlier a couple months ago, or last month even, could have been 2 weeks ago, that I was down on the Falcons because of the loss in the Super Bowl. But it really doesn't matter. They have so many good players. This team's loaded with talent.
The biggest problem they have, I believe, is Steve Sarkisian's not a good offensive coordinator. He was in over his head last year, and that was a big reason I thought you saw the numbers decline for Matt Ryan.
Yeah, that's very true. He still had some decent numbers, though.
He had decent numbers, but they declined a lot from the previous year when he was an MVP-type player.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, there was a big drop-off. I had a 4-point drop-off in just stats.
Kenny, points per game, the Falcons dropped like 10 points per game.
Yeah, you're right.
Sarkisian, he was a debacle as offensive coordinator last season.
Yeah,
and that was the biggest mistake I thought Dan Quinn made, was hiring Steve Sarkisian to call the shots on offense. I like the Falcons a lot this year too. In fact, that's one of the we do the play action segment on the NFL show. The Falcons to make the playoffs at yes -130 was one of my best bets. Quickly, though, let's wrap it up here with the Jets. They have a QB1 decision to make. And last night I thought a lot of people got a little bit too carried away with Sam Darnold's play against the Falcons. I didn't see anything spectacular. I just saw a rookie who played with composure. He's got the physical tools. We know he's going to be good. I just don't know if he's ready. Week 1 at Detroit on that Monday night. Darnold, 13 for 18, 96 yards. 13 completions, 96 yards. He is not airing it out.
No, but passes.
I mean, if you had read the stories or listened to people talk last night, they just thought they had the second coming of Joe Namath after one preseason game.
Yeah, against the third-string defense.
Who do you think exactly. Who do you think the Jets should start in Week 1?
I think it's a toss-up right now between Bridgewater and McCown. I'm not on the field, not watching these two guys every day, but I'm making a projection on Bridgewater of how good I think he can be, and I think he's as good as Josh McCown did last year. So I think it's a toss-up between the two guys.
All right. Let's go to baseball, and we are back up and running on VSiN.com if you're watching the video stream. Jets win total is 6 for this season, by the way. A lot of people thought the Jets were going to go 0-16 last year. McCown really played well. We got 2 baseball games in progress, Yankees and Rangers, and right now it looks like the Yankees are up 3-1, end of the 6th, and Giancarlo Stanton has a solo homer for the Yankees. Lance Lynn got to start today, 5 innings, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. So, Kenny, we got Stanton on the board with home run number 29, and Lance Lynn with another really effective start for the Yankees. Only 5 innings, but 1 run today.
I really like the Lance Lynn pickup by the Yankees. The shame on the Twins. They got Lynn late in spring training. He wasn't in shape. He started the year poorly. His first month was horrible. It swayed his numbers, but the last 2 months he's been far better. This guy's got playoff experience. He's a veteran. He's still got a big-time fastball, 93, 94. He can pound the zone, and he's going to be very effective. His numbers aren't great because of his first month of the season. Take away that, This guy's got really good stuff. I think that's a good pickup by the Yankees.
Yankees minus 230 favorites today. If you laid the 1.5 on the run line, minus 120. So up 3-1 right now. This game is on pace to stay under the total of 10 at Yankee Stadium. How about the Red Sox? They are up 4-0, end of the 7th inning in Baltimore today. The David Price pitching well today for the Red Sox. 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, no walks. Might be his best start of the season. Nunez has a homer, and Jackie Bradley hit home run number 10 for the Red Sox. This team just insane what it's doing offensively. Last night, 19 runs for the Red Sox, and they have a plus 203 run differential right now. Tops in the major leagues, 9 games up on the Yankees heading into Saturday.
Yeah, this is Price be 17-6 now, 10.3 units up for the season. He's definitely improved. You know, the only bad number I can see on my sheet for the Red Sox is versus left-handed starters. They're 17-12. That's the worst record of my entire sheet that I have. Everything else is just amazing. 24-6 their last 30 games. It's a great team. They got a great lineup. I'm projecting them at 110 wins right now. This is a great offense, and the pitching rotation is solid.
All right, that's the updates from Major League Baseball. We'll take a break. That's Kenny White, Matt Humans here on the Green Zone. Next 2.5 hours, we're going to preview Nationals, Cubs, and some more baseball games when we come back.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
At VSiN.com, our goal is to give you the news you need to win 24/7. You'll find the up-to-the-moment odds for all the major sports on the board. Not only that, you'll be able to track how the lines change minute by minute right up to game time. You can also compare and contrast the odds from 11 sports books across Las Vegas, including our home base here at the South Point. Some sites make you pay for that information, but on VSiN.com, it's free thanks to our friends at Don Best Sports. You'll also find the latest information that could change those odds. The Don Best Injury Ticker makes sure you are the first to know when a significant line-affecting injury happens. Our VSiN personalities contribute their words of wisdom to the site, too. Brent Musburger, Matt Humans, Dave Tooley, Ron Flatter, and others offer their unique take on whatever you can bet on. And sign up for our daily newsletter. Jeff Fogel makes it his mission to give you insights into what the sharp bettors are thinking and sends it to your inbox every day. That's all the news you need to win on VSiN.com. Also look for us in the Apple and Google Play app stores.
Read that you guys might even think they have a shot at contending for a playoff berth?
They absolutely have a shot of contending for a playoff berth. We have this projected as a top 10 defense. We do not have the offense projected well, but oh my God, is it going to be better than last year? Whether it's Taylor or Mayfield, and Mayfield has one of our best quarterback projections ever. If college performance means anything, and it does mean something, right? It's hard to project, but you know, it's better to be coming out of college with good performance than bad.
I think the prudent, proper thing to do is to allow the teams that are in your state to be wagered on. And realistically, UNLV, we take very little action to the broad scope of things to UNLV, over the last few years, and I don't know if that'll be the case here. I think some of the Mississippi teams could draw some really strong action, but it's the regional teams that are going to really draw strong action as well.
You are back in the VSiN Green Zone. Sign up for our daily newsletter and watch the show at VSiN.com. Now back to Las Vegas and the VSiN studios.
All right, Matt Humans and Kenny White here in the Green Zone. If you're watching on VSiN.com, live stream back up and listening on Sirius XM 204. We're watching golf, and we're about to talk some baseball. Kenny, the Nationals and Cubs today at Wrigley Field. The Nationals are 5.5 games back of the Braves and the Phillies. Tanner Roark goes today for Washington. There might not be a hotter pitcher in baseball at the moment. Over his past 3 starts, a whip of .68, an ERA of 0.82, over 22 innings, 20 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 earned runs. He is on a roll. But John Lester and the Cubs, tough to bet against at times at Wrigley. The Cubs are 17-6, up about 10 units in Lester's starts. He has not been that sharp lately, however. Right now, it's all about Tanner Roark and the role he's on. The Cubs minus 122, total of 9.
Yeah, before that run, they were 5-14 in Roark starts, so he was really poor lately. Lately, he's been great. Before that, he was really poor. I still have him rated well above average on the road. He's just a guy that gives you innings, keeps you in the game. And this is a game that's, I think, is a very tough game. It's a pick'em game. It's a minus 113 right now. I see offshore here at the South Point at $1.19. I did make it a little bit higher. All the number guys are down on Lester. Is XFIP a 1.5 higher than his ERA?
Sure.
And that's what they're looking at. But this Cub team's 15 games over 500. The Nationals 29-29 on the road this year. They're 16-14 their last 30. That's probably their best stretch of 30 games in a while.
You said the key there. A lot of the analytics metrics guys looking at John Lester's XFIP and saying they've been betting against Lester consistently for about 2 months.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
They really have. And they've won a couple of those games, especially the last 2. But one of the games, the wind was blowing out. Today, light wind in from right field, about 6 miles an hour. It's not going to affect play whatsoever. Both these teams are underachievers. Both of them are really underachievers.
Yeah, D-backs more so. Or excuse me, the Nationals more so.
More so, yeah.
No doubt about it. Now let's talk D-backs. They are in Cincinnati. Robbie Ray against Matt Harvey. This is an afternoon start. By the way, Nationals-Cubs starts at 4:05 Eastern. And Arizona-Cincinnati, a 6:40 Eastern time first pitch. Robbie Ray, the lefty, against Matt Harvey, who's actually pitched pretty well for the Cubs. But last night, Kenny, the D-backs got shut out by the Reds.
Unbelievable. Well, that's Discofani. Coming into the year, he was their number 1 guy. Yeah. He was on the shelf most of the first half of the season. Came back strong last night. That was definitely his best outing by far. Matt Harvey has been barely above average for Cincinnati. I really thought they were going to use him as trade bait and would trade him away.
I agree.
Why not? You picked him up, you saved him, you made it, you gave him some value. Now trade him and get some guys.
Yeah, he wanted the opportunity to start games. He did not want to pitch out of the bullpen.
Correct. And they'll send him to somebody that's in the race to maybe he can start games for them. Cincinnati had been one of the hotter teams in baseball. They've cooled off now, just 14-16 over their last 30. You got to make sure. I don't know if Joey Votto's playing today because they are facing a lefty. He's been taking a lot of time off lately. But this Reds lineup has hit lefties well this year. And Arizona struggled a little bit with their bats, especially on the road against right-handed pitchers. I kind of lean towards Harvey and the Rays. A pretty big price on the road for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
The Reds, you lean to the Reds?
I lean to the Reds, yeah.
Lean to the Reds.
Well, I made Ray $1.15, and I'm looking right out there right now. Like you can get $1.44 at a lot of places.
Yeah, I see plus 145 at the Westgate on the Reds. All right, now let's talk Rays and Blue Jays. Last night, Blake Snell went 47 pitches, 5 innings. He was perfect for the Rays against the Blue Jays. He got pulled. Coming off the DL, he had some shoulder issues, and the Rays did not want to stretch him out last night. So with a perfect game through 5, he was pulled out. Rays won the game 7-0. Rays Blue Jays today in Toronto, and it's a pitching matchup of Ryan Stanek. It's going to be a bullpen game for the Rays, and Sam Gaviglio for the Blue Jays. Pick 'em minus 105s.
What do you think about the opener for what the Tampa Bay Rays are doing using an opener?
I actually like it.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's been, it's kind of innovative and it's been successful.
It's been very successful. Yeah. I know. I was trying to find Stenick's game logs because I know he had just had a game where he opened and went 5 hitters and struck out all 5 guys. So, you got 5 right-handed hitters at the top of the lineup. Put this guy in, let him mow them down. Now he actually pitched 2 innings in relief against Baltimore and got beat up a little bit. Give up 2 home runs. Struck out 4 guys. He's K'd 9 of his last. That's 11 outs.
Yeah,
9 of his last 11 outs have been by strikeout.
August 3rd, he faced the White Sox, pitched 1 2/3 and struck out all 5 guys.
Yeah, struck out the first 5 guys of the game.
Yep.
And then they brought in another pitcher, probably a left-handed hitter coming up, or a couple lefties in the lineup. I like it because the lefty-righty matchups are so big, and that's one thing that was 20 years ago. Managers weren't really that sharp on lefty-righty matchups. Mm-hmm. They always felt, if my guy's better, if he's right-handed against the left-handed hitter, I'd rather have the better pitcher in the game. Then the numbers guys started to come into it and say, this lefty may not be as good as your righty, but he gets lefties out. And he can't get righties out, and that's why his stats don't look as good as the other guys. Right. So I like it, and there's more teams that are going to start to do it. Tampa Bay has had the 5th best ERA in all of Major League Baseball since they started using that opener.
How about Twins and Tigers? This game is in Detroit tonight. Kyle Gibson and Francisco Liriano. Not a lot to say about this one, but the Twins are minus 140, total of 8.5. This game starts at 6:10 Eastern time, so one of the earlier starts on today's baseball card.
Yeah, an early start. I don't know where the runs are going to come from. Gibson has been pitching really well for the Twins. Liriano, a little above average, but the Twins struggle versus left-handers. They got a predominant left-handed hitting lineup. They got a lot of lefties in their lineup. They're 14 and 17 versus lefties, which isn't bad for them since they're under 500. But I think they score more runs against a right-handed pitcher. Total's kind of low, though. 8.5, you don't have dominating pitching. Tough game, just 2 teams going nowhere, I think. Twins trading pieces off a team that thought they were going to be in contention. They've traded some pretty good pieces away. All
right, let's take a break. We got plenty more baseball games to talk about, but Alex Myers of Golf Digest is on deck, and he's ready to talk PGA, and we have a wild 3rd round and certainly going to be a wild 4th round shaping up at Belle Reve near St. Louis. So stick with us. Alex Myers of Golf Digest up next.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
I'm Brent Musburger, reminding you that the football betting season is here. There is nothing like it. Are you ready to celebrate the thrill of victory and cash a ticket even on defeats? Sharpen your edge now with the help of Matt Humans, Dave Tooley, and the rest of my guys in the desert. We'll get you prepared for the football season with exclusive handicapping stories and data that you won't find anywhere else. Go to vsin.com/subscribe for the package that makes sense for you, including a 1-week trial at no charge. Our new all-access subscription includes Point Spread Weekly, VSiN's digital magazine designed to make you a better handicapper and avoid the agony of defeat. You'll also get VSiN's 140-plus page college football betting guide, followed by our comprehensive pro football betting guide in August. Sign up now, vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe. Remember, cashing tickets is what it's all about.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
A guy wants $10,000 on the Falcons to win the Super Bowl. Without hesitating, I said, yeah, good, fine, write the ticket. So I turned my back. I was talking to Shelly some more. And then the guy started waving. He said, no, I don't want it. And he said, I think I can get better odds somewhere else. Well, why would you come to the counter, you idiot? If you wanted to make $10,000 bet, and then we said okay, but then he changed his mind. Let me tell you why. Because he didn't want to make that bet anyway.
He just wanted to hear it.
He just wanted someone to say, no, we can't take it. I'm telling you, I've been around this crazy racket my whole life. Vincenzo knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I haven't heard one person make the case for Conor McGregor. I'm guessing you're going to be in that same camp where you're going to love Khabib in that fight. Am I right?
There is no argument. Well, yeah, there's one argument. The lucky punch, the puncher's chance argument, and that's it. I mean, that is it. Because once Khabib takes him down, Conor will quit, gas, name it, and he will get absolutely obliterated. This fight ends when Khabib wants it to end, and it will not be close.
What does this mean to you if there is no Urban Meyer this year coaching Ohio State?
Prior to this situation with Urban Meyer, I picked Ohio State in 9-3. The biggest question I'm going to have if Urban Meyer isn't on the sidelines with their new head coach or interim head coach Ryan Day is, how is that going to fare with former head coach for Indiana Kevin Wilson and former Rutgers head coach Greg Schiano? There's a lot of personalities involved in the mix. How will this team respond under those circumstances with Ryan Day at the helm? That's the biggest question mark I have.
And I believe that NBA is going to run with this. I mean, you'll see it. There'll be a full court press now, I believe, with their. And then, and everybody goes, well, why are you so opposed to paying data fees? It's not that we're opposed to paying data fees. It's once they have an exclusive on that feed, they can charge whatever they want, Matt, as you know, and that's the problem. I mean, once you can't go out and get a different, a number like anything else you buy, you can go shop, right? And that'll be taken away from us. And then really they get their integrity feed just through another source. So it's and that's why it's such a dangerous precedent.
You are back in the VSiN Green Zone. Sign up for our daily newsletter and watch the show at VSiN.com. Now back to Las Vegas and the VSiN studios.
Love the Green Zone. Got all types of action going on today. Baseball, golf. We have NFL to preview. And Kenny, Alex Myers, our next guest, senior writer for Golf Digest, is a Yankees fan. If he were watching the game, he wouldn't be crazy about what's going on right now at Yankee Stadium. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Yankees up 3-2. Dellin Betances just trotted in from the bullpen because, the Yankees walk in a run?
Walked in a run. Adrian Beltre draws a walk. The bases loaded to make it 3-2.
All right, Betances trying to work out of this jam for the Yankees. And top of the 7th inning. All right, Alex, we have a wild third round of the PGA Championship going on at Belle Reve Country Club in St. Louis. We're watching this today, and it's some big names at the top of the leaderboard. Gary Woodland hit into the water, bogeyed, but then he birdied the next hole. So we have co-leaders right now, Brooks Koepka and Gary Woodland, but we have a lot of big names right behind those guys, right?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And certainly the biggest name, if you will, Tiger Woods, is just 2 shots back. He, obviously got up to just a brutal start on the first round, was 3 over through 2 holes, and has since played at 11 under to get back to 8 under. He's only 2 shots off the lead, as you mentioned, by Brooks and Gary Woodland. You also got Justin Thomas right there, tied with Tiger. And Kevin Kisner, who, in the last 5 majors has really become kind of a fixture on these leaderboards at majors. So, definitely a lot of big names lurking and, pretty good leaderboard right now.
Oh, no doubt. I don't think you can ask for much more than this. And I just watched Dustin Johnson miss a putt he should have made there. I'm not sure if that was for birdie or par, but DJ was the pre-tournament favorite this week in St. Louis. And the defending champ, Justin Thomas, who won last week and is in position here to possibly pull it off again. Some of these guys didn't get out to very good starts. Tiger, JT, but they've really picked up the pace here. What have you seen in Justin Thomas? What have you seen in Tiger during this second and third round rally that Tiger has made?
Well, with Tiger, it starts with the iron play. I mean, clearly the driver is still very shaky. He's not hitting it as much as these other guys. He's laying back on some of these holes, but he's still giving himself a lot of good opportunities. And, the putter is overall, I'd say probably about an A-. He's made a lot of good birdie putts. He's also missed a few pretty short par putts, including his only bogey of this third round. So, he's missed some of these putts that we used to never see him miss, but he's also made a bunch. So that mallet putter's working. Justin Thomas has just carried over from last week. You mentioned he got off to a slow start, but this morning with that restart, he's been fantastic. He's been hitting driver really aggressively, putting himself in great spots on most of these holes. And from there, it's just target practice on this course. I mean, if you find the fairway, these greens are very receptive. Again, these guys are throwing darts. You're seeing balls from the rough sticking. And as Tiger said after his round, there aren't many putts that you're scared of either. The greens are pretty slow. So these guys are giving really good, aggressive runs once they get on the green.
Follow him on Twitter at Alex Myers3, senior writer for Golf Digest. We were talking about this during the break. So play was suspended last night because of rain. And I was up early this morning watching, and it looked like the way the golf course has been softened up, these guys are going to be pin hunting all day. So we're going to see some low scores. Alex, what do you think? Where is the leader going to be when the smoke clears today? Are we going to see maybe 14 under at the top of the leaderboard?
I think that's probably a pretty good number. I'm actually surprised that you haven't seen anybody really shoot right out of the gates in this third round, even hotter, to kind of get closer to that number. And I know, Brooks Koepka obviously birdied 2 of the first 3 holes to get up into that double digits to match Gary Woodland. But you got to figure that probably at least one person will get to 13 or 14. The course isn't, it's not the easiest course. There's definitely enough long par 4s that are thrown into that aren't birdie holes. But again, if you're hitting, if you're finding the fairway here, we're seeing these balls just stop around the green. How many great approach shot guys are hitting? How many, even when they miss the green, guys are just hitting bunker shots or pitch shots that are landing right by the hole, getting them to stop. So, again, I hate to say it again, but it is kind of like target practice right now for these guys. You'd have to figure someone's going to get a low score. And I think coming into this week, we did expect something really low to win. Obviously, it's a par 70, so it's a little tougher to get to, in relation to par to get that much under. But still, something 16, 17, 18 could definitely still win this thing.
All right, Brooks Koepka, Gary Woodland tied atop the leaderboard right now at the PGA, 10 under. Kevin Kistner, 9 under. Tiger, JT, Adam Scott, Ricky Fowler, those guys at 8 under. Jordan Spieth, Jason Day at 7 under, and DJ at 7 under as well. So, man, this is shaping up to be a star-studded final round tomorrow out there. What's the weather forecast for later today and tomorrow? Any more storms?
Not supposed. It's not supposed to be. There's always a chance in the summer, I guess, but that something could move in quick. But no, it's supposed to be good. I think obviously, in retrospect, they probably made the right decision. They pulled everybody from the course yesterday. They got them out there early today. I thought they might even get them out there earlier than that, but it looks like they're going to be back on track. They went to the threesomes in the afternoon. They went to the split tees. I know sometimes people hate that in a major on the weekend, but I say who cares?
Right.
The most important thing is obviously finishing this by Sunday night. And right now they're definitely on track to do that. And it's funny, this course, it hasn't gotten rave reviews from anybody. It kind of looks like your average PGA Tour course. But, you can't complain when you see a leaderboard like this. And sometimes an easier course, a wet course, does actually give you a better leaderboard, a more packed leaderboard. Right now, like all those names you mentioned, it's a who's who of the PGA Tour right now. And at this point, it's hard to see anybody really breaking away. We should have another exciting finish at a major.
I think so. That's Alex Myers. And if you follow him on Twitter, he pinned a tweet up there. And this is what people hate this too, Alex, when you can't watch a major on TV. We hear it every year at the Masters. But the Masters is probably not going to change. But how about the PGA?
Right.
Your tweet was, how bad was TNT's coverage of the PGA today? You said you've rewatched an hour and broke down the number of shots versus commercials, and it was pretty bad. We were talking about this Thursday. Half the players I wanted to watch were almost done with their rounds by the time the TV coverage started. What's this nonsense with the delayed coverage of a major? And we're talking PGA, not the Masters.
Yeah, you're right. We've kind of got used to with the Masters. The PGA, maybe we just kind of forget because it is that fourth major that we just kind of forget about in general. But you're right. There was definitely a little bad luck in terms of the timing of that afternoon round because, as you said, almost all the leaders were already done with their second round. But again, that just shows you how ridiculous it was that we weren't able to see them. Gary Woodland and Kevin Kisner were playing together. They were, Kevin Kisner was threatening to shoot 63 or 62. We didn't see any of their shots the entire round.
Right.
That's ridiculous. On day one, Ricky Fowler was the leader for most of the day. We didn't see one of his shots live because if you weren't in one of the two featured groups, that's it. And then once they actually came on TV, it just seemed like they were basically showing the two featured groups. That's it. When you have a any sort of golf coverage, it needs to be a little more comprehensive than that, and certainly at a major championship. And on a Friday when there's so many guys out there still, it's not a final round where you're down to just 5 or 6 guys. I mean, there's everybody still out there. It was very disappointing. Yeah, it ended up being in an hour of coverage, 33 full shots, not including putts, and 30 commercials.
Wow.
And I think we heard that Jeep One Direction commercial 4 times in that span. I can't get that stupid song out of my head. So, yeah, definitely not the best representation by TNT. They will cover this for one more year next year. We'll have to see if that contract gets renewed. I think a lot of golf fans would be glad to see it not get renewed at this point.
Why does this happen? Is there an explanation for why there's no coverage for several hours on the morning of the first round or second round of a Masters? Has that been discussed out there much?
Well, I mean, you mentioned the Masters. They just do whatever they want. I mean, you know, they have gradually given us a little more and more. I mean, if you recall, even, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, 20 years ago probably still, maybe a little more, they only even showed the back 9 there. So they've come a long way. They're just stuck in their ways. That's one thing. They run the tournament. They want to be known for running the tournament. The PGA, I don't get why. You know, if TNT wants to show this tournament, I don't know why they don't expand past that 6 hours of coverage that they've traditionally shown. We've seen, you know, all these other networks, even Fox now, you know, people have complained about Fox covering the U.S. Open, but look, Fox shows almost the entire tournament from start to finish. Once that tournament starts on Thursday, you can't complain. You can either watch on Fox Sports 1 or on Fox. You get to see everything. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, you can stream the feature groups or whatever. It's not the same. It's not the same that it's not on TV. I'm sorry. And it's not the same when it's just the featured group. So I don't know. You know, you might expect it again for the John Deere Classic. I would not expect this for a major championship. Again, hopefully it gets straightened out by next year or beyond.
Yeah, this is not good. I know a lot of golf fans, golf bettors who are upset with not being able to watch a lot of this coverage. All right, Alex Myers with us.
Of course.
Yeah, senior writer at Golf Digest. And we'll wrap it up with this. Now, I've got Brooks Koepka at 20-1. Why is a guy like Koepka still at odds like this? Because not a lot of people talk about Koepka. He's back-to-back U.S. Open winner, and you would think he'd get more respect. But he was 20-1, Alex, going into this tournament. What have you seen from Koepka here the first 2.5 days that makes you think he can win this? Or maybe you think he's not going to win it. What do you see in Koepka?
No, I mean, I think he's the favorite right now. And I think you're right. I think, you know, the golf fan and even the handicappers are just not giving this guy enough credit for what he does in majors specifically. I mean, it's an unusual track record. He has more major titles than he has regular PGA Tour titles. I mean, it's kind of absurd. But you look at the record, and even in the majors that he hasn't won, I mean, a lot of top 10s, a lot of other top 5s. He's clearly a guy who gets up for the biggest events. I mean, you watch him play, you sometimes think, does he even care what he's doing out there? That attitude obviously helps him, I think, in the big spot. But then again, in the big spot, I think he does care, obviously, a little more. And for whatever reason, if he's not, I don't know if it's a motivation thing or what, but he does seem to step up in these big events. So you're right. I mean, the 20-1 was obviously not enough credit. I think obviously if he wins a third major, we'll have to start putting him down in that Spieth Rory range. I mean, you know, Rory now hasn't won a major in 4 years, but he's always the favorite or the second favorite. At this point, it's hard to say why he would be favored ahead of a Brooks Koepka ever.
I agree. And Rory was 12-1 this week. Now I've got Fowler I've got Fowler 20-1 and Koepka 20-1. Koepka just took the lead at 11 under, and Fowler just birdied. Fowler's at 9 under. So Alex, can you make sure one of those guys wins tomorrow, Koepka or Fowler?
I'll do my best. But yeah, I mean, why does Fowler get more credit than Koepka at this point? You know, I mean, Koepka's gotten it done twice. So yeah, no, definitely though, you know, a great chance for both of them. Obviously, if Fowler doesn't win this one, I think it's going to be tough because this is his last major before he turns 30, which is kind of scary to think how you know, long he's been out there. So yeah, big opportunity for him. He doesn't want to let another one slip away.
He's 0 for 35 in majors, but I think he's got eight top 5s and maybe 9 or 10 top 10s. So Ricky Fowler's been in the hunt. He can't close the deal. Alex Myers, senior writer for Golf Digest, on Twitter at Alex Myers3. Hey, great stuff, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you checking in from the PGA today.
Appreciate you having me on anytime. Take care.
All right. That was a good segment with Alex Myers. Did you enjoy that, Kenny?
I did.
Okay.
Got a lot out of that.
All right. How about NFL preseason? We're going to talk tonight's games in the NFL. Vikings-Broncos Chargers, Cardinals, who do we like? We will tell you next. Stay tuned.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
Does your company want to reach men in the prime of their lives, men with a sense of adventure and ample disposable income? Consider advertising with the Vegas Stats and Information Network. When you do, you'll be reaching a national audience that is 95% male, college educated, between ages 25 to 54, evenly distributed, making $100,000 a year or more, and visiting Las Vegas at least once a year. VSiN Advertising delivers results because we connect with our fans in so many ways: video and radio, newsletters, social media and podcasts, email, and in person here at the South Point. That's why you are hearing and seeing more and more ads on our network. Get the same results that Quip, Harry's, and Hims are getting. Act now. The peak football advertising slots are filling up. Contact us at advertising@vsin.com. That's advertising@vsin.com. Find out how VSiN can help your business today.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
A guy wants $10,000 on the Falcons to win the Super Bowl. Without hesitating, I said, yeah, good, fine, write the ticket. So I turned my back. I was talking to Shelly some more. And then the guy started waving. He said, no, I don't want it. And he said, I think I can get better odds somewhere else. Well, why would you come to the counter, you idiot? If you wanted to make $10,000 bet, and then we said, okay, and then he changed his mind. Let me tell you why. Because he didn't want to make that bet anyway.
He just wanted to
hear it. He just wanted someone to say, no, we can't take it. I'm telling you, I've been around this crazy racket my whole life. Vincenzo knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I haven't heard one person make the case for Conor McGregor. I'm guessing you're going to be in that same camp where you're going to love Khabib in that fight. Am I right?
There is no argument. Well, yeah, there's one argument. The lucky punch, the puncher's chance argument, and that's it. I mean, that is it. Because once Khabib takes him down, Conor will quit, gas, name it, and he will get absolutely obliterated. This fight ends when Khabib wants it to end, and it will not be close.
What does this mean to you if there is no Urban Meyer this year coaching Ohio State?
Prior to this situation with Urban Meyer, I picked Ohio State in 9-3. The biggest question I'm going to have if Urban Meyer isn't on the sidelines with their new head coach or interim head coach Ryan Day is, how is that going to fare with former head coach for Indiana Kevin Wilson and former Rutgers head coach Greg Schiano? There's a lot of personalities involved in the mix. How will this team respond under those circumstances with Ryan Day at the helm? That's the biggest question mark I have.
And I believe that NBA is going to run with this. I mean, you'll see it. There'll be a full court press now, I believe, with their. And then, and everybody goes, well, why are you so opposed to paying data fees? It's not that we're opposed to paying data fees. It's once they have an exclusive on that feed, they can charge whatever they want, Matt, as you know, and that's the problem. I mean, once you can't go out and get a different, a number like anything else you buy, you can go shop, right? And that'll be taken away from us. And then really they get their integrity feed just through another source. So. It's and that's why it's such a dangerous precedent.
You are back in the VSiN Green Zone. Sign up for our daily newsletter and watch the show at VSIN.com. Now back to Las Vegas and the VSiN studios.
All right, Matt Youmans and Kenny White here at the South Point Sportsbook, the Green Zone. Final segment of the first hour. And, Kenny, we're going to take a couple minutes here to break down tonight's NFL games, and it's Minnesota and Denver. Broncos are the home team tonight. Minnesota a 1-point road favorite in a lot of spots, total 36.5. It's Case Keenum facing his former team, albeit briefly tonight. And Denver, Mike Zimmer is the angle I think some people are betting. In the preseason, he's 14-3 straight up, 12-5 against the spread as Vikings coach.
Well, Van Joseph stepped in last year. He went 4-0, 3-0-1 ATS.
Sure did.
So both guys have been successful in preseason. You mentioned Case Keenum going against his former team, but what about Trevor Siemian? he's going to get the bulk of the playing time.
That's more important tonight, right?
Yeah, I think he's going to be out on the field a lot more.
That's why I agree. I agree with your angle there.
Going against Denver. But I think the other angle is Paxton Lynch probably still feels like he's the starting quarterback there in Denver, and I think he can beat out Case Keenum. He's got to play well.
He's got no shot. He might be the number 2. He's got to focus on trying to win the number 2 job.
There's no doubt. Chad Kelly's 3, and I've got a little bit of a drop off from Keenum to Paxton. But I told you I don't have Keenum rated that high. So Lynch is a younger guy with a bigger arm.
He's not beating out.
He stands tall in the pocket.
He's got to focus on beating out Chad Kelly.
But what I'm saying is, you got a guy competing.
Sure.
And you may even mention, even if he's competing for the number 2 job, he's really competing. I think that Kelly and Paxton Lynch right now are going to be a better duo tonight than you're going to see out of I don't know, Simeon. Simeon knows he's got no shot at the start.
Simeon, Kyle Slaughter,
and Peter Pujols. Pujols out of Holy Cross, and Kyle Slaughter out of Northern Colorado. Are guys that are just going to probably bounce around the league.
All right, quick hit on the late game tonight. Chargers and Cardinals in Arizona. Cardinals are 2.5-point home favorites, total of 37. I like the Cardinals in this game tonight. We'll break it down more later in the show when we have more time. We'll take a break, come back, second hour, a lot more baseball, golf, and NFL preseason.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
I'm Brent Musburger, reminding you that the football betting season is here. There is nothing like it. Are you ready to celebrate the thrill of victory and cash a ticket even on defeats? Sharpen your edge now with the help of Matt Humans, Dave Tooley, and the rest of my guys in the desert. We'll get you prepared for the football season with exclusive handicapping stories and data that you won't find anywhere else. Go to vsin.com/subscribe for the package that makes sense for you, including a 1-week trial at no charge. Our new all-access subscription includes Point Spread Weekly, VSiN's digital magazine designed to make you a better handicapper and avoid the agony of defeat. You'll also get VSiN's 140-plus page college football betting guide, followed by our comprehensive pro football betting guide in August. Sign up now, vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe. Remember, cashing tickets is what it's all about.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
I did kind of alter my odds to win the Big Ten, but I had Ohio State minus 110 over the rest of the field. I made them even money. I lowered Michigan and Penn State. Again, not to cast too many aspersions. I'm not privy to facts other than what I'm seeing on Twitter or on TV. But to take it a step further, it is a school, and they're supposed to do the right thing, on many levels, not just winning football.
Yeah, Greg.
This just came down about 2 or 3 minutes ago. Urban Meyer has been placed on administrative leave.
Well, boys, I got some work to do.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
For real, this actually is what happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is what we have to do.
One thing that they look at is the percentage, and the Nevada percentage versus the European percentage. And I always used to say, I took my percentage down to the bank, but they wouldn't take it. They said they only take dollars. And that's what these guys really fail to realize. The European model has all sorts of, there's hidden percentage in everything that they do. And that's fine. It's worked well for them. The American market is totally different. And it's not going to go for some of that, I don't know if I could say it, but bull crap.
How much of an improvement will it be? Did I even read that you guys might even think they have a shot at contending for a playoff berth?
They absolutely have a shot of contending for a playoff berth. We have this projected as a top 10 defense. We do not have the offense projected well, but oh my God, is it going to be better than last year? Whether it's Taylor or Mayfield, and Mayfield has one of our best quarterback projections ever. If college performance means anything, and it does mean something, right? It's hard to project, but it's better to be coming out of college with good performance than bad.
I think the prudent, proper thing to do is to allow the teams that are in your state to be wagered on. And realistically, UNLV, we take very little action to the broad scope of things to UNLV, over the last few years, and I don't know if that'll be the case here. I think some of the Mississippi teams could draw some really strong action, but it's the regional teams that are going to really draw strong action as well.
You are entering the VSiN Green Zone, the show that breaks down all the games with a twist. From the point spreads to the totals and everything in between, we've got you covered. Keep up to date on the latest in sports gaming news at VSiN.com. And now, the Green Zone.
All right, back here at the South Point Sportsbook, second hour of the Green Zone. Matt Humans and Kenny White, and we got a couple of baseball games in progress. Let's give you updates here. The Yankees have taken the lead. They blew that 3-1 lead. And now they've gone up 5-3. It's top of the eighth. And Kenny, what happened here for the Yankees?
Betances balked in a run.
Betances
balks in a run. And then a two-out home run by Andujar. Stanton single to center. Gregorius flied out, and then Andujar homers to right, puts him up 2 runs. The guys laying a run and a half are happy now.
Andujar with a 2-out, 2-run homer to put the Yankees up 5-3. Yeah, if you laid the run and a half at -120, you're happy right now. So the Yankees back on top by 2, 5-3. They were -230, the closing number at the South Point today. The total 10.5. So if you played this under, you're not safe yet. And if you played this over, you're not dead yet. That's Yankees Rangers 5-3, top of the eighth, 2 outs, nobody on base for Texas. The Red Sox doing it again. This team is just unstoppable right now. So the Red Sox went into today 9 games up on the Yankees. And with a plus 203 run differential, that's insane. They scored 19 runs Friday night. Right now, the Red Sox up 5-0 on the Orioles. -280 was the price if you wanted to play Boston. If you laid the run and a half, Kenny, -170.
Wow.
And you've got to jack up these prices, don't you think? As an odds maker or a bookmaker, you don't want to get your heads beat in on the Red Sox night after night.
Well, they are -280 on the road. That with David Price, we're not talking about a Verlander, Chris Sale. We're talking about David Price. He's a good pitcher, but he's not a great pitcher at this point in his career. So, they're already jacked up. The doubleheader trend that's been on fire, that I think will come back to even 50-50 because I found a sample size on the internet from I think it was 2005 to 2014, and it was 55% sweeps, 45% splits. So I think it's more like a 50-50 thing.
Yeah, right now it's like 20-4. The team that loses the first half of the doubleheader comes back and wins the second half.
Yeah, so we'll put that streak to test in this one, in the game 2 with the Red Sox and Orioles.
Good luck if you bet Baltimore in game 2 tonight.
You're taking a big price, Leash. You're getting $1.88, and the last one that cashed was another monster price of plus $2.
David Price got the win. That game is now final. Red Sox 5-0 over Baltimore. Price went 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, no walks. Probably his best start of the season. The light-hitting Baltimore Orioles not getting much done today. They've actually been okay offensively since trading Manny Machado, Jonathan Scope. They still got Adam Jones, Mark Trumbo, Chris Davis hitting 161 in that Baltimore lineup. But that is a doubleheader, and we'll talk more about Game 2 later in this hour. Let's go to Dodgers-Rockies at Coors Field. These teams have split the first couple in this series. The Rockies got a 5-4 win last night. And here you have Kyle Freeland, who's got excellent numbers at Coors Field. You can bet him at home. He is plus 125. I would scratch my head a little bit over this line today. Dodgers and Walker Buehler minus 135. Now, Nolan Arenado might not be in the lineup. The last I checked, he was questionable for tonight's game. Arenado left last night in the 5th inning. He had left last night's game in the 5th inning with a sore right shoulder. This shoulder injuries bothered him for about a week. He was questionable to be in the lineup tonight. He was 0 for 2 last night against Kenta Maeda. He's batting .307, 29 homers, 82 RBIs. So if his bat is not in the lineup, that's a big deal. But why is Walker Buehler a 135 favorite tonight at Coors Field?
I think, again, they're looking at the numbers guys are looking at Walker Buehler 3.28 xFIP. And they're also probably looking a little bit at this Dodger lineup right now against a left-handed pitcher, and also could be Arenado. He's going to be worth at least 15, 20 cents. Great defensive player as well as, the offensive numbers. He's putting up MVP-like offensive numbers. So I believe the Dodgers' offense versus lefties far better now. Picking up Machado and Dozier in the lineup. They got a lot of good right-handed bats. They have, I think, right now the best lineup in the National League. But as you said, Kyle Freeland at home has been amazing. I have 40 cents better than the average guy at home, and I've got Buehler 25 cents below average when pitching on the road. He's been making his living at Dodger Stadium in a pitcher's ballpark.
I agree.
We'll see what he can do in Colorado. I agree with you on this one. I'd like to have Arenado in the lineup, but I think the Rockies are worth a bet here at plus money. They're still battling. They're 18-12 in their last 30 games. They're in the race. They're in the heat of it. It's going to be 90 degrees there at first pitch, which helps the ball carry a little bit there in Colorado.
90 degrees in Denver tonight?
Yeah, on first
pitch?
First pitch. That's hot there. 90 is hot. 90 in Colorado is like 110 here.
Vegas weather in Denver tonight. Yeah, I don't see the lineup update right now for the Rockies, but I don't think Arenado is going to play. Based on what I read last night, the shoulder is probably going to keep him out tonight. Otherwise, I'd be all over the Rockies, even at plus 110. Rockies plus 125 when it looks like Arenado is going to be out. I mentioned Kyle Freeland at home. The Rockies lefty, an ERA of 2.18, a whip of 1.14. His last two home starts against the Pirates and the A's, a combined 13 innings, no runs, 7 hits, and 15 strikeouts. Now, those numbers might not sound mind-blowing, but, Kenny, that's Coors Field.
That's a Coors Field, exactly. And, I think sometimes the XFIP lies a little bit as well because this is a guy with an ERA of around 3, but his XFIP 4.39, another reason why maybe they're betting the Dodgers against Freeland. But, again, I think XFIP fails for parks like Coors Fields.
All right, it's interesting to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Because the numbers guys obviously betting against Freeland and betting on the Dodgers. I really thought this line would be like 15 cents lower than what it was, than what it is right now.
17-6 under when Freeland's on the mound this year.
Yeah, it's been an under bet as well. All right, how about Indians and White Sox? We'll go to the American League here, and we'll start with Trevor Bauer and James Shields, a couple of righties, butting heads, and Indians minus 230 at the South Point, total of 8.5. James Shields 4-13, but I got to be honest, he's not been as bad as I thought he was going to be this season. He's got an ERA about 4.5. What do you see here from Trevor Bauer and the Indians that might be playable?
Bauer's really made a name for himself this year. He's right there in the top of Major League Baseball and the top pitchers right now. He's got a big-time fastball and great off-speed stuff to go with it, slider, curveball, cutter. He's real good. I like this Indian team. I like what they've done with their bullpen. They're going to win a lot of games here at the end of the year just because of the schedule that they play. They play the weakest schedule of anybody in Major League Baseball the last 2 months, and I think they're going to rack up a lot of wins. James Shields, the average Major League guy, he's an innings eater, but with average big league stuff. He's a right-hander that throws 89 miles an hour. He's not going to get many bats out. The Indians, too many left-handed bats in their lineup after getting shut out last night by a really good lefty in Carlos Rodon. They'll be ready to hit tonight against Shields.
Would you play the Indians minus 1.5 at about minus 120?
I think that's not a bad play. I'd rather lay a run and a half when I'm on the road than laying at home, obviously, because you don't get the 8th inning to hit. On the road, at least you bat all 9 innings. I think it's a good spot for them because it's a good bounce back spot. The pitching matchup is a complete domination by Bauer over Shields, and offensively, Indians far better offensively than the White Sox.
I don't play a lot of run lines, but that looked like the best run line play on today's board. If you like that sort of thing, would be the Indians minus 1.5 against the White Sox.
Yeah, this could be a high strikeout game. Bauer's got a high swing and miss percentage, 13.2.
Actually, sorry, the line is minus 1.5, minus 140.
Well, that sounds a little bit
higher.
More like it should be. And the Indians strike out 25% of the time. 1 out of every 4 batters strikes out on this White Sox team. So Bauer probably in for a nice strikeout night tonight.
All right. How about Mariners and Astros? And Seattle won the first 2 in this series, beat Verlander and Cole. Back-to-back nights. You have Wade LeBlanc opposing Charlie Morton here tonight. And again, a big plus price on Seattle, plus 180. Total is 8. The Mariners with Wade LeBlanc on the mound are 12-6, plus 6 units this season. What do you see here?
Baseball's not only a streaky game for sports bettors, it's a streaky game for players. So, Astros right now, they're just scuffling a little bit. 10-10 over their last 20 games, really, for one of the best teams in baseball. But that was without 3 top hitters in their lineup. They did get Correa back. He's back in the lineup now. This has been one of the better lineups in baseball versus left-handed pitching. But when you got Noel Tuve and no Springer, they've struggled without those guys.
Yeah.
I think this one's a pitching matchup. Morton has been great at home. And Wade LeBlanc has made his living this year, has come back, started in the bullpen this year, got a shot in the rotation. He's really made his living at Safeco. He's struggled on the road. I like the bats with Correa back. I think the Astros can bounce back here, but I sure don't want to lay a price of $215 with a team that's 10-10 over the last 20 games.
At the South Point as we speak, Astros minus 200, $2 favorite, and minus 1.5 is even money. So if you play the run line, it's even money on the Astros. All right, last one before we take a break in this segment, at least last baseball game. Then we'll update the golf tournament. But the A's and the Angels, last night the A's jumped all over Pena and the Angels. 3 runs before he could blink. Did not score again.
Yeah.
Chris Davis hit home run number 33. But the A's offense stuck in the mud from that point forward, and the Angels come back to win that game by 1. Edwin Jackson opposing Tyler Skaggs tonight. Jackson now with 101 career wins. I think he's won back-to-back starts. And Skaggs, one of my favorite pitchers to bet. He has not been in great form, but the lefty for the Angels is a minus 125 price tag tonight.
I think he is in great form. He got rocked his last outing in Tampa. He just had 1 bad game. Before that, I think it was 7 previous starts, 50 innings. He'd only allowed 8 runs, a 1.42 ERA over those 7 starts. So
you can draw a line through that last. I watched the start at the Trop, and I'm a big Tyler Skaggs guy, and he got beat up like a pinata.
Yeah, just scratch that one off the list. Okay. I mean, he's been really good. The only problem with no Trout in the lineup for the Angels hurts you a little bit, but boy. Edwin Jackson's a right-hander. They got another left-handed bat in the lineup for the Angels tonight just because of that. So I think the Angels will be just fine in this situation. I think it's a huge pitching matchup, Skaggs over Jackson.
So one of the plays you like to bet?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, no, it's a play that I'm on. I'm on the Angels tonight. I made the game $1.52 without Trout in the lineup. I've got Trout versus a right-hander 25 cents. I would have made the game $1.77. I just got a huge rating for Skaggs and at home, and I've got a low rating for Jackson on the road.
Interesting. So Mike Trout's on the 10-day DL. And,
after missing 7 games.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that all about?
Well, when he first got hurt, and that was sliding into third base at the Trop, the Angels said he's day-to-day. Might be back tomorrow. And he never came back, and then eventually – they waited a week.
Was this big. I think they knew he was going to be out 10 days, but you know what they decided to do is we're going to make the other team think he might play.
Okay. Well, he's got that right wrist injury is what it's described as. So 59-58 the Angels after last night's win. Mike Scioscia said that he doesn't think Trout's going to be on the DL too long. What exactly is he worth, if you could say exactly? I mean, you said...
For me, I've got him worth 25 cents versus a righty.
25 cents for the right.
30 versus a lefty.
Okay. That's pretty significant.
Yeah,
Is there a player worth more?
I don't think so. I think he's my highest rated guy. J.D. Martinez is close, but he doesn't have the defense that Trout has. Arenado's right up there. I mentioned he's like 20, 25 cents.
Yeah.
Because it's his defense. The kid who's really impressed me now is just Chapman for the A's. He's the best defensive third baseman in baseball. He's Brooks Robinson. This is the best defensive third baseman there is in baseball.
The A's right now trying to hold off the Mariners. They caught, and they were 1.11 games back at Seattle. Caught and passed them up a game and a half. And what's interesting when I look at Seattle, 67-50 with a minus 24 run differential.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
It's amazing, and all the numbers guys are saying the same thing, that they're playing well above their head. They should have more losses than what they have. The A's, I was looking at this. They're 43-11 versus teams under 500. Versus teams over 500, 25-37.
Interesting.
They're beating up the weak teams they're supposed to win against.
Well, the Angels are now above 500.
They're above 500.
59 and 58.
Yeah, so they're supposed to lose to the Angels tonight. They're on an Angels 4-game winning streak. They're starting to play some good baseball. I think they figured it out kind of without Trout. So, yeah, it's a play I like tonight. I like the Angels a lot.
All right, we'll talk plenty more baseball betting here on the Green Zone. Right now, update to PGA, and I see Tiger Woods prowling around out there. He's playing well. He's got the swagger today, and it looks like right now Tiger is 3 strokes back. Brooks Koepka at 11 under. Koepka still in the front 9. Gary Woodland is 1 shot behind Brooks. And then Ricky Fowler, Kevin Kisner's 2 strokes back at 9 under. Koepka just missed a putt there. Was that a birdie putt? Yeah, he tapped in for par, so he stays at 11 under. Like I said, Fowler and Kisner at 9 under. Tiger, JT, and Adam Scott right there at 8 under. We have a lot of big names on the leaderboard. I think we have a wild finish headed our way tomorrow in the PGA. So we'll keep an eye on that the rest of today during the Green Zone. We'll take a break right now. Come back, talk more NFL betting.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
Hey, this is Greg Peterson. In order to bring you the best sports information, we spend hours at our desk sitting in our old, uncomfortable, generic office chairs. So when the studio said that they were going to be upgrading us to X chairs, we were both excited and a little bit skeptical. I mean, the question was, could a chair really make a difference? And the answer is yes. I'm right now sitting in my X chair. It's very comfortable. Absolutely loving it. They are so sleek and modern. It's like the IndyCar of office chairs. I have more energy, better concentration, and more productivity than ever. Skeptical? Take the 30-day no-ask guarantee of complete satisfaction to feel for yourself. Go to xchairvegas.com and you'll receive $100 off. That's xchairvegas.com or call 1-844-4XChair. Go to xchairvegas.com now and use the code Vegas Footrest and you'll receive a free footrest. That is xchairvegas.com.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
A guy wants $10,000 on the Falcons to win the Super Bowl. Without hesitating, I said, yeah, good, fine, write the ticket. So I turned my back. I was talking to Shelly some more. And then the guy started waving. He said, no, I don't want it. And he said, I think I can get better odds somewhere else. Well, why would you come to the counter, you idiot? If you wanted to make $10,000 bet, and then we said, okay, and then he changed his mind. Let me tell you why. Because he didn't want to make that bet anyway.
He just wanted to
hear it. He just wanted someone to say, no, we can't take it. I'm telling you, I've been around this crazy racket my whole life. Vincenzo knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I haven't heard one person make the case for Conor McGregor. I'm guessing you're going to be in that same camp where you're going to love Khabib in that fight. Am I right?
There is no argument. Well, yeah, there's one argument. The lucky punch, the puncher's chance argument, and that's it. I mean, that is it. Because once Khabib takes him down, Conor will quit, gas, name it, and he will get absolutely obliterated. This fight ends when Khabib wants it to end, and it will not be close.
What does this mean to you if there is no Urban Meyer this year coaching Ohio State?
Prior to this situation with Urban Meyer, I picked Ohio State in 9-3. The biggest question I'm going to have if Urban Meyer isn't on the sidelines with their new head coach or interim head coach Ryan Day is, how is that going to fare with former head coach for Indiana Kevin Wilson and former Rutgers head coach Greg Schiano? There's a lot of personalities involved in the mix. How will this team respond under those circumstances with Ryan Day at the helm? That's the biggest question mark I have.
And I believe the NBA is going to run with this. I mean, you'll see it. There'll be a full court press now, I believe, with their. And then, and everybody goes, well, why are you so opposed to paying data fees? It's not that we're opposed to paying data fees. It's once they have an exclusive on that feed, they can charge whatever they want, Matt, as you know, and that's the problem. I mean, once you can't go out and get a different, a number like anything else you buy, you can go shop, right? And that'll be taken away from us. And then really they get their integrity feed just through another source. So. It's and that's why it's such a dangerous precedent.
You are back in the VSiN Green Zone. Sign up for our daily newsletter and watch the show at VSiN.com. Now back to Las Vegas and the VSiN studios.
Time to talk NFL. We did a little bit in the first hour. We're going in depth here. Matt Humans and Kenny White on the Green Zone from the South Point Sportsbook on a Saturday. Pretty soon it's going to be a college football Saturday, but tonight 2 NFL games on the rotation. First, we will recap some significant developments from the last 2 days. And Kenny, we 2 days ago, we saw Darius Geis, the rookie running back for the Redskins, second-round draft pick, go down with a torn ACL, out for the season. That's a real bummer for Geis and the Redskins, who looked like they were going to have a better running game with Geis and Chris Thompson and Samaje Perine. Now Geis is done for the year. I'm sure you had a pretty good rating on him. At one point, it looked like he was going to be a first-round pick. He slips to the second round a year after Leonard Fournette is a first-round pick. Probably not a big emphasis on your numbers in terms of a rookie running back going down. But what do you make Geis? What do you make of Geis's loss?
I didn't have being a rookie and the down year he had last year might have been a little bit to do with LSU, and the program was down a little bit. But this guy's a workout warrior. He might be one of the strongest guys on the field, even for the Redskins. He's that strong. I didn't have a drop off for him. Plenty of running backs in the stable there.
Sure.
I've always felt like running backs are a dime a dozen.
Yep.
It's going to be all about Alex Smith and leading that offense. And it's a shame to see him go down. Obviously, he could have been a lot better. He is a rookie. Maybe 2 years from now, he'd be worth a point and a half. Who knows?
He was not going to be what Zeke Elliott was for the Cowboys 2 years ago when he led the NFL in rushing, but Darius Geis is going to be a big part of what the Redskins plan to do offensively. Now he's done for the year, the second-round pick. The Colts lost a key wide receiver last night. Deion Kane from Clemson. He was a sixth-round pick, but Deion Kane was a guy who could make plays, and Kenny, he had impressed in camp to the point where the Colts thought Deion would be their number 3 wide receiver. He suffered a torn ACL Thursday night in the Colts preseason win at Seattle. He's going to miss his rookie year. Deion Kane out of Clemson.
Yeah, a shame because the Colts defense, they need some new life back there. This organization, with their starting quarterback Andrew Luck coming back, it's a huge boost in their power rating, 5.5 points better than Jacoby Brissett. So You lift their power rating, but they're still not a really good football team. They're weak on the defensive side of the football, and the offensive line still needs improvement as well.
They don't have great receivers. I mean, they're really not deep anyway.
No, they're not. They've really fallen apart in the last couple of years.
All right, last night, John Gruden made his return to the black hole. After 9 years as a TV analyst, Monday Night Football, he's back as an NFL coach, and he won his first game.
And Brent Musburger made his return. Maybe he'll be on the field as the offensive coordinator next year when they come to Vegas.
Brent Musburger did call the game last night. I listened to it on radio. I thought he did a great job. Any criticism out of the Bay Area about Brent's performance last night, totally unfounded. It's just that Greg Papa was such a popular guy in the Bay Area. The first couple games when he's not on air, you're going to have some newspaper columnists or some, Twitter clowns say that, Brent's not as good as Papa. And that's going to fade away after a few weeks. Yeah, but that's always going to be the initial reaction.
20 years?
After a guy who's a 20-year play-by-play guy gets pushed out, there's going to be people say, the new guy's not as good.
Well, at least they know who Brent Musburger is, though.
Exactly. It's a pretty good guy to step in, a Hall of Famer like Brent, and he did a great job, I thought, on the call last night. And it was a rather boring game. It was 16-10. The Raiders got the win. Really bland offensive game plan. Really, and Derek Carr didn't see much action at all last night. Carr was 2 for 4 for 11 yards. He was pulled, and Connor Cook was the offensive star for the Raiders, former Michigan State quarterback, 11 for 19, 141 yards, and a touchdown. Matthew Stafford did not play for the Lions. Was not a lot to see there last night, but the Raiders did get the win. Their kicking game was solid, especially on that dirt infield, where it's the only multi-purpose stadium in the NFL and Major League Baseball. Last night, the Raiders' place kicker was kicking off of dirt, made both field goals. Raiders win 16-10. Never really threatened a total, which was as high as, 36 or 37?
37.5.
37.5 was the highest it reached.
Both games yesterday, the total went up a point after the first day's results.
Yeah, the first day was an over day. What, 9-2 over
9
the
and
total?
3. 9 and 3.
9-3, that's right. 12 games on the first day, 9-3 over. Last night, both games under the totals, and the Falcons-Jets way under. But let's talk about Raiders-Lions for a minute. Connor Cook was the man last night for the Raiders. What I saw from the Lions was potential for a better running game. He had Kerryon Johnson, the rookie from Auburn, LeGarrette Blount, who was with the Eagles last year, Patriots the year before that, and Amir Abdullah. I think the Lions could actually be a decent running offense this season in support of Matthew Stafford. Now, the Lions have had no running offense whatsoever. Their running attack's been absent the last few years. Two takeaways for me last night were the Lions' running attack might be better than expected, and Connor Cook, I think, has a leg up on the number 2 job in the Oakland quarterback competition.
EJ Manuel has a little bit more experience. I think that'll be a battle right to the end.
Didn't help him when he fumbled the snap.
No, it did not. He completed a 21-yard pass, and then the next play he fumbles the snap. So I think that'll be a battle right down to the end between those two guys. Detroit, they're trying to make themselves out as the next New England Patriots. They've hired many. Their upper management came from the New England Patriots. Their head coach now is a former New England Patriot. They bring in guys like LeGarrette Blount that was a New England Patriot.
And they bring in Tom Brady and place Matthew Stafford and Gronk.
Well, I don't know. Right now, I think Brady's on when you get to that certain point. Don't
go there. Don't tell me Stafford's rated better than Brady on your quarterback rating.
This might be the year Brady falls off. I have Brady rated higher. But I'll take Matthew Stafford right now over Brady this year. You watch. Brady had a bad year last year considering his stats. He had a big drop-off. His drop-off was as big as Matt Ryan's was.
Pass me that whiskey bottle.
We'll see. We'll see.
Huh?
We'll see. I've been doing it the same way for 100 years, rating quarterbacks out, and I'll put my money down against anybody. And Brady, I think Brady's regressed a little bit in the last couple of years. Stafford, I think, has been fine. It's who you have around you, and Brady's definitely had a way better cast of guys around him than what Stafford's had. It's getting better in Detroit. It's still not great though.
How about Jets, Falcons? Jets win that game 17-0 last night. Sharp money was on the Jets side. I played that as well. They were 4-point favorites. Basically, it was a bet against the Falcons and a play on the Jets' competitive quarterback situation. Dan Quinn winless in the preseason last year, and he said before last night's game that his primary goal, he was committed to looking at the first-year players and the young guys. He did not care about winning that game last night. And the Jets, after last night after Josh McCown attempted one pass and left the game, Sam Darnold, 13 for 18, 96 yards and a TD. Teddy Bridgewater, pretty sharp last night. Teddy B, 7 for 8, 85 yards and a TD. All right, so you rate the quarterbacks. Who do you like? The Jets have a QB1 decision to make. They've also got to decide who to keep. Probably not going to keep 3 quarterbacks. Might look to trade a guy here. How do you rank the Jets quarterbacks when you look at McCown, Darnold, and Teddy Bridgewater?
I've got Bridgewater and McCown a toss-up right now. You can take your choice, but I have them 3.5 points better than Darnold. So I think one of those two guys will be their starting quarterback. Darnold could see a lot of action, though, and I agree with you. One of these two guys will probably get traded away. Most likely it's probably going to be Bridgewater because he's the guy that probably has the most rust to shake off. McCown had a nice year for the Jets, and I think they should stay with him because of what he's done for them. He knows the offense. So I think it'll be McCown and Darnold, and Bridgewater will end up somewhere else.
I do too. Now, what teams you think are most in need of a backup quarterback? Because I think Seattle really needs a backup. I think Carolina. I'm not sold on Garrett Gilbert as Cam's number 2. The Patriots could probably use a backup. You said the Giants. You think Davis Webb might be shaky as a number 2. Any other teams out there?
Davis Webb, I think, is definitely one of the shakiest of number 2s. That's a pretty low one on my list. San Francisco definitely use a backup.
C.J. Beathard.
Yeah, that's a big drop off from Garoppolo to Beathard. Other on the list, Detroit. I don't have much faith in Ruddick or Matt Castle. They might need a backup quarterback there. Those would be the biggest ones, I think. Maybe even Carolina. Garrett Gilbert is their number 2.
I'm curious what you think of the Saints. That's why I said Carolina. I actually think Teddy would be a really good fit behind Cam in Carolina.
He could battle Cam for the job.
How Okay. How about the Saints' backup quarterback situation? I want to see what you think of this because it's intriguing. Tom Savage played a couple nights ago and actually played pretty well. Houston Texans cast off behind Drew Brees. But Kenny, I think one of the more intriguing backup quarterback situations in the league because he has a former BYU quarterback who was on special teams last year, who Sean Payton likes a lot and thinks it might be their quarterback of the future.
Really? Yeah. Wow. I'm surprised. I really thought you were going to go to J.T. Barrett. Say maybe he's the guy out of Ohio State that he's got.
Taysom Hill is the guy that Sean Payton is absolutely infatuated with, and he thinks might be their quarterback of the future. If you looked the other night, he played pretty well. Taysom Hill at BYU is more of a running quarterback. He got his knees wrecked up a couple times, and it looked like he might be done, but he made some plays on special teams last year. Payton likes him as a backup. He might beat out Tom Savage, and then you have J.T. Barrett out of Ohio State also competing for a roster spot.
Well, Savage is definitely a backup quarterback in this league. He's definitely nowhere near a starting quarterback. I don't have enough data on Taysom Hill to make a great rating on him, but no experience whatsoever. I mean, if Breeze went out and Taysom Hill's your backup, I'm definitely fading the Saints that next game because with no experience, and you're right, Taysom Hill did a great job for BYU with a lot of runs. The guy can run the football. He's got legs.
He was a battering ram. He
really was.
He was like the Jim Brown of college football quarterbacks, the way he would just run over defenders. But he paid the price physically.
I was wondering what J.T. Barrett was going to show coming from Ohio State.
I thought he would get more PT in the first game, and I think he only attempted one pass, might have had one series. I thought Sean Payton would give him a little more playing time in week 1 of the preseason.
Guaranteed Taysom Hill was looking at the playbook all last year, even if he was playing special teams.
No doubt.
He knows the playbook, and maybe J.T. Barrett just does not know the playbook as well. It was interesting to hear John Gruden last night say before the game, we're not going in with a little playbook today. I'm giving them everything. They've got everything on their plate tonight. So I want to see who knows something about football and who can remember plays. I'm putting these guys to work, which I think that's a great idea. Challenge them from the get-go.
I'll tell you one of the more interesting week 2 preseason matchups where John Gruden is not going to dig into the playbook. The Raiders play the Rams in L.A. next week. Those teams also play on Monday night in week 1. Neither coach is going to want to show a thing in that week 2 preseason game. I got to think that total is going to open pretty low. That's going to be a very vanilla offensive attack when the Rams host the Raiders in week 2 of preseason. All right, quickly, we'll preview tonight's games. We'll do it again in the next hour. Vikings, Broncos, pick them at the Westgate. Vikings -1 at a lot of spots. Broncos tonight will start Case Keenum. It looks like he's not going to play much. Behind him, you have Chad Kelly and Paxton Lynch. And on the Vikings side, Kenny, you brought up an interesting angle here. Not necessarily the coach. Mike Zimmer, 14-3 straight up, 12-5 against the spread as a preseason coach. A lot of people love to bet him. You mentioned Vance Joseph covered every game last year, won every game in the preseason, but the backup QB situation for the Vikings is interesting.
Yeah, Trevor Siemian will get a shot to go against his old team here, so I thought that was interesting. But big fall off, I think, to Kyle Slaughter and Peter Pujols after that. That's going to be a big drop off. I like Denver at home, and remember what I said about the Rockies were playing at home tonight.
Yeah.
And I said the temperature was 90 degrees.
Right.
It's going to be 90 degrees at kickoff here for this football game. That's awfully hot. I think the defenses could get worn out a little bit. I really feel like you're going to get a good performance out of Siemian against his old team. I think he'll put points up on the board against a second-string defense. And I think Paxton Lynch will do the same thing. I think he'll be battling, and he'll put up points against a second-string defense. Might be a good over in the first half in this Denver game.
All right, total for the game, 36 or 36.5 at the South Point. It's a pick'em right now. Vikings and Broncos. Chargers and Cardinals tonight in Arizona. And Cards are 2.5-point favorites. Josh Rosen's going to get a lot of PT tonight for the Cardinals. I think Sam Bradford's going to play a lot too. From what I read, Bradford really wants some snaps in this new offense. He wants to play, so Bradford and Rosen will play. Behind them, you have Mike Glennon. I like the Cards in this game tonight. One thing is you have a new coach here, too, Steve Wilkes in Arizona. The backup QB situation for the Chargers could be a train wreck, Kenny. I'm not sure which way it's going to go here, but you've got Cardale Jones, you got Geno Smith behind Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, it could be a train wreck. You're right. And, a new head coach, maybe in the regular season you could bet against him, but it seems like new head coaches, they want to come in and win right away. They're playing at home, and if Sam Bradford's going to get playing time in this game, that's a big advantage for Arizona, I believe. I agree with you there. I don't see Phillip Rivers playing, but maybe one series, and then he's gone, and you're going to see, I think the bulk of it's going to be Cardale Jones, because they know what they're probably getting out of Geno Smith. They need to see what they can get out of Jones. And they're going to play their fourth-string quarterback, Nick Simonek.
Yeah, from Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, that's it. We'll talk more NFL in the next hour. We have to take a break. We have Jeff Culiandro, VSiN's NASCAR analyst. He's got his best bets for Michigan up next, so stay tuned for Jeff.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
All right, do you want to get an edge over Vegas in the books? Of course you do. BetQL is available for download. It's the only mobile app that puts all the important research you need to make smart bets in one place. With BetQL, you can easily access line movements to see how the lines have moved. This app gives you access to public betting trends in real time so you can see which side the public favors. BetQL's powerful algorithm gives users value bets of the day based off of detailed recent and historical trends. You can also calculate your return on your picks and track them throughout the day. The best part of it all, you can download BetQL for free from your Apple or Android device. Head to betql.co to download the only app you need to outsmart Vegas. That's betql.co. BetQL is brought to you by the creators of RotoQL, the leading daily fantasy lineup optimizer trusted by over 100,000 DFS players. You can also download RotoQL for free for both Apple and Android. BetQL.co.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
I did kind of alter my odds to win the Big Ten, but I had Ohio State minus 110 over the rest of the field. I made them even money. I lowered Michigan and Penn State. Again, not to cast too many aspersions. I'm not privy to facts other than what I'm seeing on Twitter or on TV. But to take it a step further, it is a school, and they're supposed to do the right thing, on many levels, not just winning football.
Yeah, Greg.
This just came down about 2 or 3 minutes ago. Urban Meyer has been placed on administrative leave.
Well, boys, I got some work to do.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
For real, this actually is what happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, this is what we have to do.
One thing that they look at is the percentage, and the Nevada percentage versus the European percentage. And I always used to say, I took my percentage down to the bank, but they wouldn't take it. They said they only take dollars. And that's what these guys really fail to realize. The European model has all sorts of, there's hidden percentage in everything that they do. And that's fine. It's worked well for them. The American market is totally different. And it's not going to go for some of that, I don't know if I could say it, but bull crap.
How much of an improvement will it be? Did I even read that you guys might even think they have a shot at contending for a playoff berth?
They absolutely have a shot of contending for a playoff berth. We have this projected as a top 10 defense. We do not have the offense projected well, but oh my God, is it going to be better than last year? Whether it's Taylor or Mayfield, and Mayfield has one of our best quarterback projections ever. If college performance means anything, and it does mean something, right? It's hard to project, but it's better to be coming out of college with good performance than bad.
I think the prudent, proper thing to do is to allow the teams that are in your state to be wagered on. And realistically, UNLV, we take very little action to the broad scope of things to UNLV. Over the last few years, and I don't know if that'll be the case here. I think some of the Mississippi teams could draw some really strong action, but it's the regional teams that are going to really draw strong action as well.
You are back in the VSiN Green Zone. Sign up for our daily newsletter and watch the show at VSiN.com. Now back to Las Vegas and the VSiN studios.
Time to talk NASCAR, which we did a couple days ago on Gone Racing here on VSiN. We had Kyle Busch joined us, so it's with Brendan Gaughan and Jeff Motley of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Jeff Couliandro was on that show, and he's back today, and we're going to talk about the Consumer Energy 400 at Michigan International Speedway in Brooklyn. And Jeff, thanks for jumping back on today. I first got to give you props, man, for your record on matchups this season. 45-27, so outstanding job handicapping this stuff on a weekly basis.
Thank you very much, Matt. Actually, right now I'm watching Brendan Gaughan race in the Xfinity race, and he's doing quite well.
Yeah, he said he was headed out of here right after Thursday's show. So busy weekend for Brendan. Follow Jeff on Twitter at NASCAR Visionary and read him in Point Spread Weekly, VSiN's digital magazine, each week. So, Jeff, let's break it down here. I noticed last night in qualifying, the front row was swept by Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. So Kevin Harvick, who's been right there with Busch all season, is the number 3 qualifier. Denny Hamlin is a 2-time winner at Michigan, but the Joe Gibbs Racing vet is winless this season. Busch has 6 wins this season, and Hamlin's winless, but he's got 2 wins at Michigan. So break it down for us here. When we look at the odds from the Westgate, Kevin Harvick is plus 275. He's the favorite. Kyle Busch, Martin Truex at 4-1. You see Denny Hamlin before qualifying all the way down there at 20-1. How do you think this race is going to play out?
Well, that's a great question, Matt. And, Gibbs was really successful yesterday in qualifying, as they have Eric Jones starting 4th. So 3 out of the top 4 cars are Gibbs cars, and Harvick, of course, is sandwiched in the middle. I think, trying to beat the big 3 this weekend is going to be of a major task. Certainly Harvick does deserve to be the favorite. He's been the happiest of any of the big 3 with his car so far this weekend. And he's shown the kind of progression that we look for when it comes to either somebody winning a matchup or, in this case, actually winning the race. So I think by looking at Harvick's speeds as the practice sessions have occurred, I think he's really the one to beat right now. But looking a little bit closer, I think you've also got to look, of course, at Jones. I think Jones is going to be solid. He's at 15-1 from what I've seen, perhaps even higher. And I think he's sort of the dark horse that they're forgetting. And I expect him to run very well this weekend. And I think there's value there, or I would go with him at, higher odds when compared to Harvick at just 275.
Hey, Jeff, it's Kenny. What are we looking at Michigan International Speedway? Anything we need to know? Drivers meeting tomorrow. Could somebody be moved back? Give us some details on the track and drivers that run well on this track.
So it's the fastest track on the circuit. And the reason why it's the fastest is because they do not use restrictor plates at Michigan. So yesterday during qualifying, they were hitting 208, miles an hour down the front stretch. Very fast track. And, when you look at the recent history, it's been dominated by Kyle Larson. He has 3 wins out of the past 5 races there at Michigan, and he's really been stellar. However, his qualifying effort was not exactly what he would have wanted, starting 17th. He's going to essentially have to pass the entire big 3 in order to get to the front, and his odds are a little bit too low for me to feel like he can do that confidently. So, just looking a little bit deeper, there's going to be some value, but we're going to have to kind of go off key this weekend, if you will.
What car does Larson drive? What type, and what type of car actually runs well on a fast track like this?
Well, Ford has been very good, but, I wouldn't count any of the 3. I think it's been pretty much a cross-section of the 3 when you look at Michigan. Larson drives a Chevy for Ganassi Racing, and typically this has been a track where he's really been able to maneuver the car to progress through the field if needed, or hold just the win. Joey Logano leads all drivers in the last 5 races at Michigan with 162 led laps. And I think I saw him at about 15-1. And there could be some value there as well.
All right, Jeff Couliandro with us, NASCAR Visionary on Twitter. Kenny, any more questions?
Yeah, I didn't hear you say Daniel Suarez once. Come on, Jeff.
Well, you know what? Suarez is the 4th of the Gibbs cars. He, during qualifying, it was going so hard that he hit the wall. He's going to start 40th. If it weren't for his starting spot, I would be much more into Suarez, but he would have a lot of work to do, although in happy hour he was very fast. If you want to take a long shot flyer, you can look at Suarez at 70-1, Ryan Newman at 125-1, and even Eric Almirola at 50-1. Any of those 3, might be worth just a flyer.
All right, if you'd like to catch tickets, listen to Jeff. He's been hot this season on NASCAR, 45-27 on the matchup. So let's talk about those. When we were on the Gone Racing show a couple days ago, Brendan and Jeff were both, I guess, a little bit surprised Kyle Busch was not as much of an underdog as he is to Kevin Harvick in the matchup. Busch was a plus 130 in the head-to-head against Harvick. How do you think that's a solid play? Tell us about some of your best matchup plays this week.
At this point, I think Harvick is the strongest car in the field,
Okay.
so I would not against him at any level. But looking just a little bit deeper, I like Joey Logano at plus 130 versus Chase Elliott at minus 150. Elliott's trying to recover from that win last week. This weekend, he had a poor qualifying effort and then spun in happy hour. So he really had very little dedicated practice after qualifying in order to tune his car. Logano's looked relatively strong all weekend. So I like Logano at plus 130 over Elliott, and I like Eric Jones at minus 110 versus Kurt Busch. And I'm going to still pour over these a little bit more, but there'll be an update on the VSiN main page here within the next few hours.
All right, good deal. That's Consumer Energy 400 at Michigan Speedway tomorrow. Sunday start time is 11:30 a.m. on NBC, it looks like. And I did have one question. I was talking with Brendan about this Thursday during the show. It's just odd to see Jimmy Johnson, a guy like that, at 60-1, 50 to 60-1 on a weekly basis. What's wrong with Jimmy Johnson's car this season? And do you ever consider him, when you look at these odds numbers week in and week out, do you ever consider him live, or is he just kind of a forgotten driver this season?
He's been forgotten, but I would not forget him. We're seeing the Hendrick cars as evidence with last week with Elliott's win that they are progressing. If Johnson can just hold stead, he will make the playoffs. At that point, I expect his crew chief, Chad Knaus, to really pull out all the stops in order to get him a win and keep him alive in the playoffs as long as possible. Right now, they don't want to screw anything up. They want to get him in the playoffs and progress the car through the rest of the regular season and then try to take a wild swing at it in the playoffs.
That's a game plan. All right, Jeff Couliandro at NASCAR Visionary on Twitter, and follow all his NASCAR plays in VSiN. While you were talking about your driver matchups, Jeff, Kenny White was writing those down, and he looked like he was about to fire on his mobile app. I saw you.
I take down notes every week.
I know. Okay.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Very appreciated, you guys. Have a great rest of the day.
All right, that's a VSiN NASCAR analyst. Follow him on Twitter at NASCAR Visionary. We'll take a break, the last one of this hour. We come back with something interesting in the NBA as far as the schedule that was released this week. And there's a final in the Bronx. It was a dramatic finish in the Yankees-Rangers game. We'll get to that next.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
Folks, if you can hear my voice, you know that the X-Share is just a wonderful product that you should be getting right now, because in order to bring you the sports information that you all love and crave, we spent hours and hours sitting in our chairs, and before they were old, they were getting broken down, but then it was announced that they were going to be bringing X chairs to the VSiN studios, and we were all a little bit skeptical, but quite excited as well. I mean, the question was, could a chair really make a difference? And the answer is yes. I'm currently sitting in my X chair right now. I can do all sorts of different things with it, move it around, tilt it back and forth. It gives great support. I absolutely love it. And they're so stylish and modern. It's like the IndyCar of office chairs, and it molds itself to your body, meaning ideal posture, more energy, better concentration, and more productivity than ever. I'm producing shows like never before. And if you're still skeptical, then you can take the 30-day, no questions asked guarantee of complete satisfaction to feel for yourself. Go to xchairvegas.com and you will get $100 off. That's xchairvegas.com, or call 1-844-4XChair. Go to xchairvegas.com now and use the code VegasFootrest and get a free footrest. xchairvegas.com.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
A guy wants $10,000 on the Falcons to win the Super Bowl. Without hesitating, I said, yeah, good, fine, write the ticket. So I turned my back. I was talking to Shelly some more. And then the guy started waving. He said, no, I don't want it. And he says, I think I can get better odds somewhere else. Well, why would you come to the counter, you idiot? If you wanted to make $10,000 bet, and then we said, okay, and then he changed his mind. Let me tell you why. Because he didn't want to make that bet anyway.
He just wanted to
hear it. He just wanted someone to say, no, we can't take it. I'm telling you, I've been around this crazy racket my whole life. Vincenzo knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I haven't heard one person make the case for Conor McGregor. I'm guessing you're going to be in that same camp where you're going to love Khabib in that fight. Am I right?
There is no argument. Well, yeah, there's one argument. The lucky punch, the puncher's chance argument, and that's it. I mean, that is it. Because once Khabib takes him down, Conor will quit, gas, name it, and he will get absolutely obliterated. This fight ends when Khabib wants it to end, and it will not be close.
What does this mean to you if there is no Urban Meyer this year coaching Ohio State?
Prior to this situation with Urban Meyer, I picked Ohio State in 9-3. The biggest question I'm going to have if Urban Meyer isn't on the sidelines with their new head coach or interim head coach Ryan Day is, how is that going to fare with former head coach for Indiana Kevin Wilson and former Rutgers head coach Greg Schiano? There's a lot of personalities involved in the mix. How will this team respond under those circumstances with Ryan Day at the helm? That's the biggest question mark I have.
And I believe the NBA is going to run with this. I mean, you'll see it. There'll be a full court press now, I believe, with their. And then, and everybody goes, well, why are you so opposed to paying data fees? It's not that we're opposed to paying data fees. It's once they have an exclusive on that feed, they can charge whatever they want, Matt, as you know, and that's the problem. I mean, once you can't go out and get a different, a number like anything else you buy, you can go shop, right? And that'll be taken away from us. And then really they get their integrity feed just through another source. So it's and that's why it's such a dangerous precedent.
You are back in the VSiN Green Zone. Sign up for our daily newsletter and watch the show at VSiN.com. Now back to Las Vegas and the VSiN studios.
Let's talk a little NBA. Matt Humans and Kenny White here at the South Point Sportsbook. VSiN.com if you're watching, Sirius XM 204 if you're listening as well. And Kenny, the NBA schedule came out this week. The Christmas Day lineup I thought was pretty good. Timberwolves at Knicks at the Garden. That tips it off on Christmas. Followed by the OKC Thunder at the Rockets and the Philadelphia 76ers at Boston. You'd love to see that Sixers-Celtics game on Christmas,
Yeah,
right?
that's the two best teams in the East, I think, right now. Yeah. Maybe Toronto gives them a run with Kawhi. But Boston, love their head coach, love what they've done, going to get healthy. And Philadelphia, they made a great run at the end of the year.
Also, Lakers going to be in Oakland to play the Warriors, and you have the Portland Trail Blazers at Utah. Salt Lake City wraps it up on Christmas night.
Wow.
Blazers at Jazz. So that's your 5-game Christmas schedule. Here's a tweet from ESPN Stats and Info. The NBA released its schedule Friday. It was official. A lot of the games had leaked out before that. Several notable returns. We'll call these homecoming games. Gordon Hayward at Utah on November 9th. So the Celtics back in Salt Lake City on November 9th. That's Gordon Hayward back against his former team. LeBron James goes to Cleveland on November 21st. How about Kawhi Leonard back in San Antonio on January 3rd? Blake Griffin back in L.A. to face the Clippers on January 12th. Tony Parker now in Charlotte. He is going to be back in San Antonio January 14th. And DeMar DeRozan, now with the Spurs, will be in Toronto on February 22nd. Which homecoming game, Kenny, which game or two means the most to you?
Probably LeBron going back to Cleveland. He's the best player in the NBA. Why not? Why not?
LeBron and Kawhi. Kawhi back.
Kawhi going back to San Antonio because he's going to get booed.
No doubt.
The entire game, every time he has the basketball.
All right, let's update the baseball scores. 2 finals in the books. The Red Sox won 5-0. David Price was probably his best start of the season. 6 innings, 10 strikeouts. Red Sox roll again in the first game of a doubleheader. The Yankees win and cover the run line, but not without a lot of drama. Yankees win 5-3. Aroldis Chapman faced a bases-loaded situation. He allowed a walk and a hit in the 9th. Bases loaded, he got a strikeout to end it, and the Yankees hold on to win by 2 runs. They got a home run from Giancarlo Stanton and a 2-run shot with 2 outs in the 7th by Miguel Andujar. We also have Nationals and Cubs. And, Kenny, what's going on here? It looks like the Nationals have an early lead at Wrigley Field.
Zimmerman hit a 2-run home run in the first, and he picks up a sacrifice fly in the third. So jumping on Lester right away, 3-0. Cubs had a couple runners on in the bottom of the second, but it was John Lester at the plate, and Washington was able to escape the jam.
Lester's been a guy a lot of sharp bettors have been against, but the Cubs are 17-6 in his 23 starts this season. But the thing is, Tanner Roark's been red hot for the Nationals and off to a good start. Right now it's 3-0 Washington. Like you said, Zimmerman's got the home run. We'll take a break, come back in the third hour on the Green Zone. PGA, baseball, NFL betting. Stay tuned.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
At VSiN.com, our goal is to give you the news you need to win 24/7. You'll find the up-to-the-moment odds for all the major sports on the board. Not only that, you'll be able to track how South Point. Some sites make you pay for that information, but on VSiN.com, it's free thanks to our friends at Don Best Sports. You'll also find the latest information that could change those odds. The Don Best Injury Ticker makes sure you are the first to know when a significant line-affecting injury happens. Our VSiN personalities contribute their words of wisdom to the site, too. Brent Musburger, Matt Humans, Dave Tooley, Ron Flatter, and others offer their unique take on whatever you can bet on. And sign up for our daily newsletter. Jeff Vogel makes it his mission to give you insights into what the sharp bettors are thinking and sends it to your inbox every day. That's all the news you need to win on VSiN.com. Also look for us in the Apple and Google Play app stores.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
A guy wants $10,000 on the Falcons to win the Super Bowl. Without hesitating, I said, yeah, good, fine, write the ticket. So I turned my back. I was talking to Shelly some more. And then the guy started waving. He said, no, I don't want it. And he said, I think I can get better odds somewhere else. Well, why would you come to the counter, you idiot? If you wanted to make $10,000 bet, and then we said, okay, and then he changed his mind. Let me tell you why. Because he didn't want to make that bet anyway.
He just wanted to
hear it. He just wanted someone to say, no, we can't take it. I'm telling you, I've been around this crazy racket my whole life. Vincenzo knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I haven't heard one person make the case for Conor McGregor. I'm guessing you're going to be in that same camp where you're going to love Khabib in that fight. Am I right?
There is no argument. Well, yeah, there's one argument. The lucky punch, the puncher's chance argument, and that's it. I mean, that is it. Because once Khabib takes him down, Conor will quit, gas, name it, and he will get absolutely obliterated. This fight ends when Khabib wants it to end, and it will not be close.
What does this mean to you if there is no Urban Meyer this year coaching Ohio State.
Prior to this situation with Urban Meyer, I picked Ohio State in 9-3. The biggest question I'm going to have if Urban Meyer isn't on the sidelines with their new head coach or interim head coach Ryan Day is, how is that going to fare with former head coach for Indiana Kevin Wilson and former Rutgers head coach Greg Schiano? There's a lot of personalities involved in the mix. How will this team respond under those circumstances with Ryan Day at the helm? That's the biggest question mark I have.
And I believe that NBA is going to run with this. I mean, you'll see it. There'll be a full court press now, I believe, with their. And then, and everybody goes, well, why are you so opposed to paying data fees? It's not that we're opposed to paying data fees. It's once they have an exclusive on that feed, they can charge whatever they want, Matt, as you know, and that's the problem. I mean, once you can't go out and get a different, a number like anything else you buy, you can go shop, right? And that'll be taken away from us, and then really they get their integrity feed just through another source. So it's and that's why it's such a dangerous precedent.
You are entering the VSiN Green Zone, the show that breaks down all the games with a twist. From the point spreads to the totals and everything in between, we've got you covered. Keep up to date on the latest in sports gaming news at VSiN.com. And now, the Green Zone.
Tiger Woods on the prowl, Kenny. He's in the hunt here in the PGA, and looks like he's got a birdie putt coming up from about 10 or 12 feet. We got an awesome final golf major unfolding here at Belle Reve Country Club in St. Louis. We had a weather delay yesterday. Play was postponed. I was up early this morning watching this, and this major's not going to disappoint. Right now, Brooks Koepka, he just dropped a birdie putt. He is at 12 under and alone in the lead. Gary Woodland, I think, has a par putt coming up here. Woodland one stroke back at 11. Ricky Fowler at 10 under, 2 strokes back at Koepka. And then you have Adam Scott, Kevin Kisner right there, and Tiger Woods at 8 under with British Open champ Francesco Molinari, Shane Lowry. You got John Rahm, Justin Thomas, all sorts of big names up here on the leaderboard. And Kenny, I can tell you were jacked up about this.
You mentioned it, Francesco Molinari, the British Open champ. He's been
He's lurking in the shadows.
He's lurking behind the Tiger who's on the prowl. And you can never give up on Justin Thomas too at -8, and also a couple other big names dropped a little bit. Dustin Johnson and Jason Day both at -6 right now.
How about this? These odds are from the Westgate before Thursday's first round. Gary Woodland was 150 to 1. He's right now 1 stroke back. Kevin Kisner was 80 to 1. And he is, he's now fallen 4 strokes off the lead because Koepka just dropped that birdie putt to put him at 13 under. So Koepka's at 13. Woodland still at 11. Is that correct?
Yes.
Woodland still at 11. Fowler at 10. Koepka is 5 under today. He was 69 in round 1, 63 in the second round. He is 5 under today. So the back-to-back U.S. Open champ taking control. Going into today at the Westgate Sportsbook, DJ was the favorite on the adjusted odds board at 7-2. Ricky Fowler was at 5-1, the second choice. Koepka 11-2, the third choice, and Gary Woodland at 8-1. I'm looking right now. I think DJ has fallen back a little bit today. He's had tough luck with the putter. He is 1 over for the day. DJ was 67, 66 first 2 rounds. He's 1 over today. Down there with Justin Rose, Jason Day. I don't know if any of those guys can make a move. It might be too late. If Brooks Koepka doesn't back up, it's going to be tough for anyone other than, I would say, the top 6 or 7 guys on the leaderboard to catch him. So Brooks Koepka, back-to-back U.S. Open champ, is now the leader at the PGA. 2 strokes up on Gary Woodland, 3 up on Ricky Fowler.
Brooks Koepka's a great story. And I hate the story to be Tiger Woods just 4 off the pace because Koepka has had a real nice first 3 rounds of this tournament. Yeah, the second round, the 63, that was the number, 63.5. There was 2 of them yesterday, so that prop went under.
That's right. Gary Woodland dropped a stroke? Yep. All right, so Koepka has a 3-stroke lead now over Woodland and Fowler, and then 4 strokes back, Adam Scott, Kevin Kisner. 5 back, Tiger Woods, Molinari. Adam Scott really kind of out of nowhere to get into contention this week, but Brooks Koepka, so steady, got the great all-around game. It's going to be tough to catch him in the PGA. I've got Koepka at 20-1. I've got Fowler at 20-1. Live tickets heading into the third round. The third round, then the final round tomorrow. NFL preseason action. We have 2 games tonight, but let's recap what happened last night. Brent Musburger on the call on the radio side. The Raiders get the win 16-10 over the Lions at the Oakland Coliseum. John Gruden back for his first game after 9 years as a TV analyst. Not a lot of drama on the field last night. Derek Carr, 2 for 4, 11 yards. Just a cameo appearance by Carr. Matthew Stafford made no appearance at all for the Lions. Connor Cook, the backup quarterback for the Raiders, was the star last night. Connor Cook was 11 for 19, 141 yards and a TD. The Raiders' kicking game was solid, kicking off that dirt in the Coliseum, a couple of field goals. And the Raiders win the game 16-10. Cover. That's more important for the bettors, and it also stays well under the total, which got as high as 37.5. And, of course, Brent Musburger made references to the point spread and the total at the end of the broadcast.
As he should.
Yeah, he should, no doubt.
Marshawn Lynch actually looked really good.
Yeah, he did. He had a long 60-yard TD run called back.
Called back, and he looked good on that run. I mean, his cutbacks, his speed, he looks like he's in really good shape.
Yeah.
So that's good news for the Oakland Raiders.
No doubt, because Gruden wants a power running attack to be the basis for the offense, and actually he wants to run to set up the pass. And he is an old school guy in that way that he's committed to the running game. A lot of coaches in the NFL no longer committed to the running game, but John Gruden is, and he wants Marshawn Lynch to be his workhorse.
I don't know. I can't think about who his quarterbacks were when he was a head coach for Tampa and the Raiders, but
Gruden?
Yeah.
He had Rich Gannon.
So
you know that?
This may be the best quarterback he's ever had in the NFL, and he's a quarterback guy.
I want to know where you rank Derek Carr, because we talked about your quarterback ratings, and the Carr took a step back last season with 22 TDs, 13 picks. The year before that, really good numbers. I think he had 28 touchdown passes, only 6 picks. But everything for the Raiders, every aspect of the Raiders took a step back last year. And Derek Carr yet working with another offensive coordinator. It's been like a revolving door of offensive coordinators in Oakland. Now he's got a new coaching staff, new system. I believe in Derek Carr. I think he's an elite quarterback, but last year he did take a bit of a step back, Kenny.
He did. He dropped 1.5 points in my ratings on statistical side of it. I didn't knock him that far going into this year. I'm going to project him a little bit higher. Yeah, I've got him up there with some of the elite quarterbacks in the league. I think he's got a chance to have a great year. He could actually put himself into the discussion if he has a great year with Matt Ryan, with Tom Brady, with Drew Brees. If he has a great year, he could. Really
All right,
good.
so you said it's the only thing I've disagreed with you on so far. You rate Matthew Stafford as a top 5 quarterback. You rate him ahead of Tom Brady this year?
No, I got him. I have Brady a 0.5 point higher.
Oh, you do,
but just a 0.5 point higher. And it's subjective because you're looking at quarterbacks. Andrew Luck could be one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL this year. He's that good. But is he going to be that good? He's got to shake off the rust. So
we haven't seen. We really haven't seen him throw downfield yet either. All the throws he made Thursday night against Seattle in that 19-17 win were short throws.
Right. Dink and dunk stuff, and but he could be that good. I mean, his numbers show it. He's that good of a quarterback. I have Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers, the top 2 quarterbacks in the NFL. And then after that, I got Tom Brady and Drew Brees right there with. Andrew Luck could be in that mix. That'd be my top 5 quarterbacks, and then followed by Matthew Stafford. Yeah. Closely followed by Matthew Stafford.
When Stafford,
a couple other guys. I got Roethlisberger right there too, and Alex Smith, all in the same group.
How do you rank Smith as compared to Kirk Cousins?
I have Smith a point better.
About a point better. It sounds right. That's what I would. That's about how I would rank them as well. All right. How about the AFC West? Watch Raiders last night. This is an intriguing division to me. I'm doing the AFC West preview for the Pro Football Betting Guide at VSiN that's coming out here in about 10 days.
Okay.
And maybe it's about 2 weeks. Anyway, it's right around that time frame. I think August 23rd is going to be the release date. So this is a difficult division to forecast. I know so many odds makers and sharp bettors are high on the Chargers. I'm not as high on the Chargers. I do love a lot of their defensive personnel, but this team has already been snake-bitten by injuries. Bad luck seems to hit the Chargers every year. They find ways to lose close games. I think the Broncos could be the most improved team. one of the most improved teams in the NFL. I think the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, a little bit of a mystery, what you're going to get there. And I'm not really crazy about what's going on with the Raiders right now, though. I'm not writing off the Raiders like a lot of people. What's your take on the AFC West?
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Everything you just mentioned. First of all, Patrick Mahomes with Kansas City. They get rid of a top quarterback, so Mahomes could be the guy. And they want a gunslinger because they've got so much speed. But it's not Andy Reid's style, so it just kind of shocks me that they made that decision. Alex Smith was the perfect guy for him. I'm not huge on the upgrade of Case Keenum at quarterback. It's a 1.5 upgrade from what they had. Yeah, they had some really bad quarterbacks. I mean, they just had backup guys there. Right now, the Raiders with Derek Carr and John Gruden, if Gruden can make a difference on defense, I'm in agreement with you on the Chargers. I'm not as high on the Chargers as a lot of people are. The one thing I don't like is they don't have a home field.
Right.
They have zero home field advantage.
No true home field advantage. Right.
They have no fans there in L.A., and everybody that comes in has more fans than they do in the stadium. Every game last year, the Chargers were out attendance by the opponents. So I don't like that aspect for them. They're kind of a road warrior team. So I'm going to give the Raiders a shot to maybe win this division.
Interesting. All right, let's talk about tonight's two games. Let's just start with the Chargers and the Cardinals, a late game on the West Coast. That game kicks off at 7 p.m. Pacific time in Arizona. The home team is favored by 2.5. Total is 37. 36.5 at the South Point, 37 at the Westgate. Cards 2.5-point favorites. Let's talk about the quarterbacks here because Sam Bradford said he wants a lot of playing time. He wants snaps tonight in this game. I think he's going to get it. You got a first-year coach, Steve Wilkes, who probably wants to win this game. I'm sure he does more than Lynn does, Anthony Lynn for the Chargers. I almost said Lance Lynn.
And Lynn was a first-year guy last year. He went 1-3.
He was, 1-3 in his first year.
Straight up NATS.
You know, the backup quarterbacks behind Phillip Rivers, I think leave a lot to be desired for LAC. And you're looking at Cardale Jones, Geno Smith, Nick Shimonek from Texas Tech. I like the situation overall with the Cards so much better because Sam Bradford's going to get some PT, and I think the Arizona plan and Wilkes plans to leave the number ones out there with Josh Rosen also in the first half tonight. They don't want Josh Rosen playing with backups, so I think you're going to get the number one offensive line out there with Rosen. So you got Bradford, Rosen, and then the second half you're going to get some Mike Glennon, who the Bears thought was good enough to give him $17 million. So I think this situation actually sets up pretty good for the Cardinals. So it's 2.5-point home favorites. But, Kenny, we're not seeing this line budge at all.
Because we're not hearing coaches come out and say they're going to – I don't know if did he say he's going to play
I
his
read
first
that
string?
last night. I read it last night.
That should be enough for the bettors to jump in Arizona because I'm in complete agreement. If you get Bradford extended period of time, this guy's a really good quarterback. He just gets hurt all the time.
Yeah.
Josh Rosen, he thought he was going to go a lot higher. He's got a lot to prove. He was mad at where he was drafted. He wants to show people that they passed up on the wrong guy. They should have drafted Rosen first. He thought he should have gone ahead of everybody. So I think you're going to see a guy. He's motivated. They're all motivated, but I think this guy is that good. I like Rosen. I think that he's right about where he got drafted. And Glennon, I've got him as a third string quarterback. He's pretty good third-string quarterback. So I'm in agreement with you. I don't like Geno Smith or Cardale Jones. So I think there's about a 3-point advantage in the first half for Arizona and the quarterbacks, and I think there's a couple-point advantage in the second half. I think the line should have been more about 4.5, 5.
If you look at that, too, and how would you approach this as better? Would you play Arizona in the first half only? Would you split your units? Would you play a half unit first half unit on the game? I mean, what would you look at?
I think you should play a half unit on each. I think you need to get off to a good start. If you're going to win this bet, you're going to need to win the first half because the second half is going to be more of second, third string guys against each other. If you got the first string for Arizona in the second quarter against Denver's or against the Chargers backups, should have a big advantage.
I think Phillip Rivers is going to play one series from what I read. So basically you got Sam Bradford and Josh Rosen against Geno Smith in one series of Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I'll take that all day.
I like the Cards in that game tonight. I'm off to a good start in the preseason so far. I don't want to jinx it, but, not going to win them all. No. How about Minnesota and Denver? Vikings have now moved to 1-point favorites at the Westgate. Been trickling money in on the Minnesota side. Total 36.5. I believe at the South Point, it is still a pick'em, and it is. But let's talk about the quarterback situation for these teams, because Case Keenum goes against his former team, but he's probably not the most important quarterback in this game going against his former team, right?
I agree. I think it's Trevor Siemian. I think he's going to have a lot to prove, and he'll want to do well against Denver. I don't think he has any pressure on him either, because I think he understands he's the backup to Kirk Cousins. And I think he wins that job easy. He doesn't have a lot of competition with Slaughter and Pujols. So I think you'll see a real good game out of Siemian against his old team tonight.
Also on the Broncos side, how about the situation with the backups, Chad Kelly, who's the number 3 guy right now, and number 2 is Paxton Lynch. I think that's the way they're going to roll him out there tonight. And Denver, do you like that situation for the Broncos?
I do. I think that, Paxton Lynch is a guy Denver was really high on. He just has never done anything. He's got the big arm. And Chad Kelly comes out of Mississippi last year. He's had 1 year to try to figure things out, played a little bit in preseason last year as Jim Kelly's nephew. Mm-hmm. I've got him rated as, below average, a little below average third-string quarterback. I don't think you're going to see much of Case Keenum. I think you're going to see all Paxton Lynch and Kelly in this game. So I think it's advantage Trevor Siemian.
I love this competition between Paxton Lynch and Chad Kelly, because Lynch was a first-round pick. Remember the Cowboys? Yeah. Jerry Jones wanted to trade up to get Lynch.
Yes.
John Elway took him in the first round. Chad Kelly was Mr. Irrelevant, the final pick of the 2017 draft. So you have a first-rounder against the final pick of the draft going head-to-head.
Yeah. Well, guys, I always say these players are – kind of like popcorn sometimes, and they pop at different times. Paxton Lynch, I'm sure Denver is still hoping that he turns into that number 1 pick that when they drafted him 2 years ago, that he can turn out. He's got a big-time arm. He's been in the system now. I think this is be the first time he's had the same coordinators. So he had switched coordinators the last 2 years.
Broncos fired Mike McCoy.
Yeah, so
that's another thing tonight for Arizona. Mike McCoy is the offensive coordinator, and he's going against his former team, the Chargers.
Well, there you go.
Just a little thing.
Yeah.
Maybe McCoy.
He'll want to definitely win that game, no matter if it counts or not.
Win the game. I think Steve Wilkes will want to win the game as well.
Yeah, both guys.
All right. That's Kenny White. Matt Youmans here on the Green Zone. We'll take a break, come back in 2 or 3 minutes. We have 7 baseball games to break down from a betting perspective.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
I'm Brent Musburger, reminding you that the football betting season is here. There is nothing like it. Are you ready to celebrate the thrill of victory and cash a ticket even on defeats? Sharpen your edge now with the help of Matt Youmans, Dave Tooley, and the rest of my guys in the desert. We'll get you prepared for the football season with exclusive handicapping stories and data that you won't find anywhere else. Go to vsin.com/subscribe for the package that makes sense for you, including a 1-week trial at no charge. Our new all-access subscription includes Point Spread Weekly, VSiN's digital magazine designed to make you a better handicapper and avoid the agony of defeat. You'll also get VSiN's 140-plus page college football betting guide, followed by our comprehensive pro football betting guide in August. Sign up now, vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe. Remember, cashing tickets is what it's all about.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
I did kind of alter my odds to win the Big Ten, but I had Ohio State minus 110 over the rest of the field. I made them even money. I lowered Michigan and Penn State. Again, not to cast too many aspersions. I'm not privy to facts other than what I'm seeing on Twitter or on TV. But to take it a step further, it is a school, and they're supposed to do the right thing, on many levels, not just winning football.
Yeah, Greg.
This just came down about 2 or 3 minutes ago. Urban Meyer has been placed on administrative leave.
Well, boys, I got some work to do.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
For real, this actually is what happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is what we have to do.
One thing that they look at is the percentage, and Nevada percentage versus the European percentage. And I always used to say, I took my percentage down to the bank, but they wouldn't take it. They said they only take dollars. And that's what these guys really fail to realize. The European model has all sorts of, there's hidden percentage in everything that they do. And that's fine. It's worked well for them. You know, the American market is totally different. And it's not going to go for some of that, I don't know if I could say it, but bull crap.
How much of an improvement will it be? Did I even read that you guys might even think they have a shot at contending for a playoff berth?
They absolutely have a shot of contending for a playoff berth. We have this projected as a top 10 defense. We do not have the offense projected well, but oh my God, is it going to be better than last year? Whether it's Taylor or Mayfield, and Mayfield has one of our best quarterback projections ever. If college performance means anything, and it does mean something, right? It's hard to project, but you know, it's better to be coming out of college with good performance than bad.
I think the prudent, proper thing to do is to allow the teams that are in your state to be wagered on. And realistically, UNLV, we take very little action to the broad scope of things to UNLV. Over the last few years, and I don't know if that'll be the case here. I think some of the Mississippi teams could draw some really strong action, but it's the regional teams that are going to really draw strong action as well.
You are back in the VSiN Green Zone. Sign up for our daily newsletter and watch the show at VSiN.com. Now back to Las Vegas and the VSiN studios.
That is the voice of John Von Tobel. He's like the VSiN voiceover guy. And Matt Euman's here with Kenny White. And Kenny, you're on Twitter. I don't think you tweet much.
No, I don't. Maybe in football season.
Do you hire somebody to tweet for you?
No. Well,
also.
Then they're doing a bad job then, if I did.
You are on Twitter, though, at KWhiteyVegas, right?
That's right.
And we were going to talk baseball betting here in this segment. D-backs and Reds. We talked a little bit about this in the first hour. And the Reds have been a team that a lot of sharp bettors like to play. I don't know if they're looking to play Matt Harvey tonight. It's Harvey plus 145. Robbie Ray, the lefty for the D-backs, minus 155, total of 8.5 in Cincinnati. And last night, the Reds shut out the D-backs, who are, by the way, in a tie with the Dodgers atop the National League West.
Yeah, the D-backs, and I think the number guys are looking at this. Robbie Ray's xFIP is a full run lower than his actual ERA, so he's been a little bit unlucky this year. The team is down 5 units when he's on the mound, 6-8. He had a little injury in the middle of the year. Matt Harvey, still just an average big league guy, and no Joey Votto in the lineup tonight. That kind of hurts the Reds with a lefty on the mound. They've been giving him a little bit of rest. But you got Scooter Gennett and Suarez batting 3-4. Those guys can put some runs up for you. But the Reds lineup had been swinging the bats, and that's why the money was coming in on them.
Yeah.
But that has stopped as of late. When you look the last 30 games, the Reds just 14-16.
I'm a little curious about your take on Robbie Ray, because that's a guy who's been a little bit up and down, and I can't quite pin him down.
I like him a lot. He has not pitched as well this year, obviously, as he did last year. But I think he's been a little unlucky as well. He should be pitching far better at home because they got the humidor there now. And the dome's been closed, which is a runner and a half off. So that field went from the roof being open to averaging about 10.5, 11 runs a game to now averaging about 7.5, 8 runs a game with the humidor.
Right.
And he hasn't pitched well. So I think a lot of it, he hasn't been 100%. When this guy's 100%, he's well above average pitcher. He has pitched far better this year on the road than he has at home.
All right, I noticed that as well. All right, let's go Dodgers and Rockies. And you and I were researching this, and Nolan Arenado is not going to be in the lineup tonight. No surprise. He left last night's game in the 5th inning. Rockies beat the Dodgers 5-4. He left with a shoulder injury, and I didn't think he was going to play tonight. So Nolan Arenado, a guy with 29 homers, batting .307, not in the lineup for the Rockies. But they do have Kyle Freeland, who's got outstanding numbers at Coors. The lefty facing Walker Buehler, the right-handed prospect for the Dodgers. And right now, the Dodgers, $1.40 favorites. The numbers ticked up a little bit since it became since it was confirmed that Nolan Arenado is not going to play. So right now you have Dodgers minus 140, Rockies plus 130 with Kyle Freeland opposing Buehler. I like the Rockies a little bit, but with Arenado not in the lineup, I'm not going to play it.
Buehler. No. The Freeland, 17 and a third shutout innings at home. His last 17 and a third.
It's been lights out.
He hasn't given up a run. Buehler struggled on the road. He's faced the Rockies twice. Faced them at home, 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. Faced him in Colorado, 4 innings, 5 runs, gets knocked out in the 5th. He's a different story, just night and day, home and away. I don't like it that Arenado's not in the lineup, but it's going to be warm there tonight. I think the numbers right now just, priced right. There might be a little bit of an edge to the Rockies, though, with that price at home.
You talked about first pitch. It might be 90 degrees at Coors Field.
It will be. Yeah, it will be 90 degrees at first pitch.
And the total is 11. Any thoughts on the total?
No, I wish it wasn't Freeland. And I mentioned earlier, 17-6 to the under when he starts this year. So big under guy. The Dodgers have had problems hitting lefties as well. That's been their struggle all year long. Even though they actually show a winning record, they're 24-17. But their lineup got a lot better when they picked up Machado and Dozier to hit against left-handed pitching. They'll be just fine. They got 2 left-handed bats out of the lineup tonight to be a lot of righties against Freeland.
All right, Brewers and Braves in Atlanta, and it's Wade Miley, lefty opposing Julio Teheran, and it's Pick'em Kinney minus 105s, total 9.5. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, Teheran, I've watched him pitch the last couple outings. I think he has got nothing on his fastball. He has been terrible. Miami beat him up. He got beat up a little bit in his last game. He was a little lucky in his last game. His xFIP, 4.81. Miley, he's put up incredible numbers so far. ERA are like 2.2, but you know what? He's been extremely lucky. He's faced the Dodgers twice. He did really well against the Dodgers. It must be something that they couldn't see. But if you looked what this guy did last year with the Orioles, his ERA was over 5.5, I think.
Right.
I think he's just a well below average major league pitcher. I think he can get a lot of runs. It's hot and humid in Atlanta tonight, but you got 2 really good lineups against 2 guys that are rather average pitchers. Miley's xFIP, 5.07.
Okay, let's go to Mets and Marlins in Miami. Corey Oswald against Dan Straley. This is essentially a pick'em game, too. I think the South Point's got the Marlins minus not 109, it's 110. Marlins minus 110. And the Mets won last night. I think the Marlins have dropped 3 in a row now. And they traded Justin Bauer.
Oh, that was another trade. When's Real Muto going? He's the next one.
I think you have to hold on to JP Real Muto. I mean, if you don't hold on to him, who are you going to build around?
Yeah, exactly. I would think you got to build around somebody, but I think it's all about the business and the money end of it now, and just trying to bring in prospects to get better. This is a matchup of who's going to win more games. The Mets at 48 wins right now. The Marlins 47. I think it's a real even matchup. Both guys well below average, but you have well below average offenses as well. I don't really see anything that helps any trends out. Dan Straley, when he's pitching, Marlins are actually 12-6 to the over. A pass game because it's 2 bad teams.
I'm going to pass on this one as well. Marlins have dropped 3 in a row, and they were 1-9 in their past 10. Phillies and Padres, and the Padres threw a shutout at the Phillies at Petco last night. Aaron Nola and Walker Lockett. And Aaron Nola, what can you say about him? He's been phenomenal for the Phillies. The price tag's big tonight. Nola and the Phillies minus 220 at Petco. Total of 8. And Walker Lockett, not too impressive so far for the Padres.
What's the chances of 2 guys with the first name of Walker pitching on the same day? The big leagues. I guess they were watching a lot of Walker, Texas Ranger back in the day. Their family.
That's probably it.
Walker Lockett, well below average pitcher. The Phillies will have no problem getting on the board tonight. And you're right, Aaron Nola's been great. He's really, I think, pushed himself into the top 10 in Major League Baseball. Starting pitchers, ERA 2.37, team 16-7 when he starts. He's the guy to build around. He's a great young pitcher. A little warm in San Diego, be 84 at first pitch there.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Phillies get their bats going tonight, though. I think they'll knock out Lockett. Lockett has a problem throwing strikes.
Yeah.
I think he walks as many as he strikes out. Averages about 5 walks per 9 innings, 5 strikeouts per 9 innings.
I like the Phillies as well. -2, but that's not saying a whole lot. It's a big price tag tonight, -220. If you want to lay the 1.5, the South Point number on the run line is, I don't see it. I think it's -125. Yep, Phillies -125 if you lay the 1.5 tonight. I'm going to head down to San Diego next week. I'm going to catch a couple games. Padres and Angels. Hopefully, I don't think Mike Trout's going to be back by the middle of next week. Pirates and Giants. And last night I had the Giants. Mentioned that as the best bet on the edge yesterday. Derek Holland staked a big lead. Man, Kenny, it became a shootout. The Pirates got back into the game late. 13-10, the Giants won last night. It is Trevor Williams, the right-hander for the Pirates, against Ty Block, the lefty for the Giants. Pick'em game, total of 8.5.
Yeah, a grand slam by the Cervelli, the catcher for the Pirates. I think it was 4th or 5th career grand slam already.
Was it?
Yeah. It was an amazing game, back and forth. Tonight,
Giants had a big lead the whole time, but they end up the Pirates scored some runs late in the innings to make it a little bit more interesting. Yeah.
Ty Black has been in the bullpen. He's done a nice job. He had one bad outing that he didn't get an out in, give up 4 or 5 runs. So ERA was overinflated by that, but he's getting a second shot at getting back in the rotation. He's a guy that can give you innings. He's a lefty. Lefties scare me when they come back like this. Trevor Williams has pitched real well, too. Kid out of Arizona State. I like him. He's pitched well. Been a little lucky. His xFIP is actually a run higher than his actual ERA. Team has gone under when he's pitching, 14-7 under when Trevor Williams is on the mound. Blocked 7-4 to the under when he's been on the mound. So maybe the hitting regresses a little bit tonight.
All right, one interleague game on the schedule, Cardinals and Royals, and this Jack Flaherty against Danny Duffy. Interesting matchup. And current number, Cardinals -156, total of 8.5. And Cards have not been winning when Jack Flaherty is on the mound. In 18 starts by Flaherty, they are 7-11, -5.5 units. Flaherty's numbers are not that bad. And on the road, he's got an ERA under 3, a whip of 1.07, pretty good strikeout-to-walk ratio. He has been given up a few too many long balls. Danny Duffy had a stretch where he was pitching surprisingly well. But the last time out at Minnesota, rocked for 6 runs in 6 innings. What do you make of this game tonight? The price tag on the Cardinals, like I said, about -155, 156.
Yeah, what do we get out of Danny Duffy? The last 7 starts, you're right, he had 4 games where he allowed 1 run or less, and the other 3 games he allowed 6 runs or more.
Right.
So hard to figure. I thought he was a good play the last outing against Irvin Santana was pitching. He's down 3 miles an hour off his fastball.
He's a bet against guy.
Yes,
Santana.
He's 3 miles an hour off his fastball from last year, and I don't believe he's a fly ball pitcher, and he's going to give up a lot of jacks. He gave up a couple yesterday. So I played Duffy last time. I lose 6-5. And at home, he's really been a struggle this year. ERA 6.48 at home. Just ridiculous. Hitters hitting 288. I have him at home right now 50 cents below the average pitcher. Flaherty on the road, I got him 35 cents better than the average guy.
Okay.
And his xFIP, 3.47. So Flaherty really hasn't been lucky. He's been the real deal. He's got a nice swing and miss rate, 12.7%. Kind of surprised that the price is this low for Flaherty tonight. But as you mentioned, they are 7-11 in his starts.
Cards are 61-55. If for those of us who bet the Cards over their win total, need this team to continue to make a push here. 6 games over 500. All right, Kenny White, Matt Youmans, the Green Zone, taking a break. We come back a couple minutes. We'll talk college football.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
I'm Brent Musburger, and I'd like to ask all of you business leaders out there, does your company want to reach men in the prime of their lives? Men with a sense of adventure and ample disposable income? You will be reaching a national audience that is 95% male, college educated, between ages 25 to 54, evenly distributed, making $100,000 a year or more, and visiting Las Vegas at least once a year. VSiN Advertising delivers results because we connect connect with our fans in so many ways: video, radio, newsletters, podcasts, email, and right here in person. That's right, come on and visit it at the South Point at the tip of the Strip in Las Vegas. You too can get the same results that Quip, Harry's, and Hims are getting. Act now. The peak football advertising slots are filling up, so contact us at advertising@VSiN.com. Find out how VSiN can help your business grow today.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
A guy wants $10,000 on the Falcons to win the Super Bowl. Without hesitating, I said, yeah, good, fine, write the ticket. So I turned my back. I was talking to Shelly some more. And then the guy started waving. He said, no, I don't want it. And he says, I think I can get better odds somewhere else. Well, why would you come to the counter, you idiot? If you wanted to make $10,000 bet, and then we said okay, and then he changed his mind. Let me tell you why. Because he didn't want to make that bet anyway.
He just wanted to
hear
it.
He just wanted someone to say, no, we can't take it. I'm telling you, I've been around this crazy racket my whole life. Vincenzo knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I haven't heard one person make the case for Conor McGregor. I'm guessing you're going to be in that same camp where you're going to love Khabib in that fight. Am I right?
There is no argument. Well, yeah, there's one argument. The lucky punch, the puncher's chance argument, and that's it. I mean, that is it. Because once Khabib takes him down, Conor will quit, gas, name it, and he will get absolutely obliterated. This fight ends when Khabib wants it to end, and it will not be close.
What does this mean to you if there is no Urban Meyer this year coaching Ohio State?
Prior to this situation with Urban Meyer, I picked Ohio State in 9-3. The biggest question I'm going to have if Urban Meyer isn't on the sidelines with their new head coach or interim head coach Ryan Day is, how is that going to fare with former head coach for Indiana Kevin Wilson and former Rutgers head coach Greg Schiano? There's a lot of personalities involved in the mix. How will this team respond under those circumstances with Ryan Day at the helm? That's the biggest question mark I have.
And I believe that NBA is going to run with this. I mean, you'll see it. There'll be a full court press now, I believe, with their. And then, and everybody goes, well, why are you so opposed to paying data fees? It's not that we're opposed to paying data fees. It's once they have an exclusive on that feed, they can charge whatever they want, Matt, as you know, and that's the problem. I mean, once you can't go out and get a different, a number like anything else you buy, you can go shop, right? And that'll be taken away from us. And then really they get their integrity feed just through another source. So it's and that's why it's such a dangerous precedent.
You are back in the VSiN Green Zone. Sign up for our daily newsletter and watch the show at VSiN.com. Now back to Las Vegas and the VSiN studios.
South Point Sportsbook, Sirius XM 204, VSiN.com if you're watching. And Rini and Golia with us now. Matt Humans and Kenny White. Rini, college football analyst for ESPN, and UMass Hall of Famer. This is going to be a college football Saturday in a couple weeks. And, Rini, I was going to say, do you have an opening assignment for ESPN? What's the first game you're going to call?
I do. September 1st, I'll have a James Madison, a powerhouse out of the FCS, going to North Carolina State out of the ACC. And I'm sure Dave Dorn and North Carolina State didn't want anything to do with a JMU opponent the first week, but they're getting them.
Hey, I saw on your Twitter page you retweeted something from a college football site about potential FCS over FBS upsets this season. James Madison and MC State was one of those potential upsets. Also listed on there, Southern Utah possibly over Oregon State, South Dakota State against Iowa State, Eastern Washington against Washington State, Nicholls State against Kansas. When you look at that list, what do you think really seriously has a shot to be a major upset? Last year, UNLV is not highly regarded, but we saw Howard as a 45-point dog come to Vegas and knock off UNLV. What sort of FBS stunner do you think is realistic here?
Yeah, I mean, I really haven't studied them other than James Madison, and I can tell you, even though North Carolina State is an ACC opponent, and JMU is loaded in their experience. And the thing with JMU is they do not fear bigger programs, and so they go in there. I had them last year, and they just beat up an East Carolina team, and that's the thing. I think when you have FCS teams were up front from the inside out, they can compete. That's when they have a chance to upset. And the one thing you can take to the books that happens every single year, an FCS beats an FBS. I mean, it happens every year. Book it. It's going to happen again this year. The fun part is watching and see who it is.
All right, James Madison, team's talking up there, and I remember that last year. That team's legit. Kenny, when I look at the Pac-12, Oregon State by far the worst team. I think Washington State and Mike Leach are going to be pretty bad this year too. It looks like a rebuilding year for Leach and Pullman.
Should be an interesting year, though, with all the new coaches.
Right.
And we'll see what some of these guys can do with some of the talent that they have in Arizona and UCLA with Chip Kelly back there. What do we think about these teams right
Herm
now?
Edwards?
Yeah, what do you think about the new coaches in the Pac-10 or Pac-12?
Well, no, you hit on it. It's to be determined, right? What are these coaches going to do, and what are they going to do with the talent? I tell people all the time, it's no secret in college football. It's about recruiting. You got to get the players in there, and once you get them in there, you coach them up. So it'll be really interesting. You mentioned it, Chip Kelly. I know Chip. Go back a long way. My UMass days, Chip used to be at New Hampshire.
Yep.
They got a big one early on, September 8th at Oklahoma. So it'll be really interesting to see what Chip does. You have Mario Cristobal up in Oregon. You mentioned Herm Edwards, Kevin Sumlin in Arizona. And, the thing with the Pac-12 right now, I think, Stanford buying away is the best team in that conference. And so it'll be tough for some of those other teams, but it'll be interesting to see what those coaches can do early on, trying to get some momentum to get their programs kind of rebooted again.
Whoa, not so fast there, my friend. We're both looking at each other in the studio. Far better than Washington? Stanford?
Well, you're right. I misspoke there. Because Washington is one of my sleeper teams that I got in there. So you guys corrected me. Thank you very much. Washington is the best team, I think, right now in the Pac-12. Stanford right in there second. So thank you for correcting me.
Well, I think Stanford's going to be pretty damn good as well, because Bryce Love, we know how good he is. And KJ Costello, a quarterback, late last season, if you watch that Notre Dame tape, he looked like a combination of Andrew Luck and John Elway. That might have been a fluke, but if Costello can play well this year, Stanford's going to be a real threat to win the Pac-12 with Washington in that North Division. There are a lot of teams.
Bryce Love,
go ahead, Rini.
Can he stay healthy? That's the key, because they're going to feed him the ball. David Shaw is going to give him a bunch of carries. He's not the biggest back in the world. He runs like he's a big, powerful back. But, boy, I can tell you as a former running back, taking those shots, it takes a toll on you. So can they keep him healthy?
That's a good question. David Shaw loves to give his running backs a ton of carries, too. He's not a guy who ever took a break on McCaffrey. He doesn't do it with Love. Those guys just get a ton of work.
They line up with two tight ends and a fullback. Yeah. They're going to run the football. Yeah, that's like Wisconsin. Same thing. We're going to see a Wisconsin team that's got the most talent I think they've ever had. And then we got to go to the question: is Urban Meyer going to be there for Ohio State this year?
Yeah. How about the Big Ten, Rini? What's it look like to you now?
Yeah.
You got Jonathan Taylor and the Wisconsin, the clear favorite in the West, and you have the Urban Meyer situation, and Michigan State, Penn State, all pretty good in the East.
Yeah, so before the Ohio State Urban Meyer issue happened, I liked Wisconsin. I talked to you guys a few weeks ago. They have arguably the best offensive line in the country with one of the best running backs in the country in Jonathan Taylor. So I like Wisconsin out of the Big Ten. We'll see what happens with Ohio State and Urban Meyer. We'll see when the 14-day investigation gets over with. But you're right, Penn State in the East is going to be right there as well, and the top end of that the Big Ten conference is going to be really tough.
All right,
Michigan's going to be real good.
I think Michigan's defense could be the best in the nation.
Well, I know that's high praise. I think they're definitely in the top 5 discussion, but I think Shea Patterson is a huge difference maker and a big upgrade at quarterbacks. Michigan's going to be a dangerous team.
Well, listen, I agree with you guys. The thing with Shea Patterson, let's see, right? Ole Miss transfer, played at IMG Academy down here in Florida. And, a lot of people have Shea Patterson on Heisman watch lists already, so we'll see. But I agree with that defense. They bring back 14 of their top 16 tacklers from last year. And I've said it before, and I've said it on this show. Don Brown, the defensive coordinator at Michigan, is the best defensive coordinator in the nation, hands down, in my opinion.
All right, it's going to be interesting in the Big Ten. I want to go back to what you said about Chip Kelly, because I think this is a fascinating storyline. Kelly, not so successful in the NFL, but I think he's an outstanding college coach. He's back where he belongs on campus. Now, UCLA has been, I guess you could say, a sleeping giant for a long time. How quickly can Kelly wake up the Bruins, and do you think he's got the quarterback he needs to run his system right away? How quickly can Chip Kelly do this at Westwood?
Well, I think he'll make a huge turnaround this year because of what you said. They've got talent on that roster already, so get him in camp, coach him up. As long as they can get his offensive schemes down, which I think they will. He's kind of a mastermind when it comes to offense. I think really the problem Chip ran into in the NFL, I think, was defensively. So let's see what they can do defensively. But as you know, in college, you can get away with kind of lackluster defenses because you can score so many points. So I think UCLA will have a big turnaround just this year. How many wins can they get to? That'll be remain to be seen. But I think Chip Kelly will make a huge difference this season for UCLA.
What do you think Herm Edwards is going to do in Tempe at Arizona State?
You know, I like Herm Edwards. I think we all do. He's that kind of coach that I think if you had a son, you'd want him to play for Herm Edwards. Yeah, he's kind of been out of the coaching world, but he's been involved. So that's going to be really interesting. But I like Khalil Tate. I mean, I think he may be the most dynamic athlete. I'll take it even outside of quarterback, the most dynamic athlete in the country. And defenses are going to have to scheme to stop him. And he's not an easy one to stop. He's another one. Needs to stay healthy. Got a little banged up last year. But as far as Khalil Tate goes, I think that's how far Arizona will go.
Yeah, Rena, I wanted to ask you. That was going to be my question. Khalil Tate. When you look
Kevin
at it,
Sumlin, excuse me.
Yeah, when you look at his numbers, the last 3 games at Oregon. Now they were all road games with a neutral at Purdue in the bowl game, but at Oregon, at Arizona State, and versus Purdue. He ran for only a total of 118 yards on 42 carries, around 3 yards per carry. This is a guy that was running off. He had 6 straight games of 100 or more, 2 out of the 6 games over 200. Mm-hmm. Was it because he was banged up, or was it because teams started to scheme for him?
It's a combination of both. There's no doubt he was banged up. I mean, it wears on you later in the season. So I think he was banged up, but teams are going to start scheming. But when they scheme to stop you, boy, that's when you can really hit some big plays in your offense, getting some other people involved. So, but the biggest thing is I think he was banged up. I think they got to keep him healthy. Easier said than done when you have a running quarterback. But we'll see what Kevin Sumlin does. Good, very good coach. I think he's going to be a good fit there in Arizona. So I'm looking forward to see them play this year as well.
All right, Rini, last question for you. How about surprise teams in college football this season? Teams you've targeted that will be surprisingly good or even surprisingly bad?
Yeah, so, I mean, I said this before, and they're not really on anyone's radar. I like West Virginia because I like their quarterback wide receiver duo and Will Grier and David Stills. I had them in a bowl game last year. I just like them. No one's really talking about them. That's the one I'm kind of just circling. Penn State's not really a sleeper. We mentioned them. I like them possibly to slide into the playoff. So those two, and then the non-power fives. I like Boise out west to kind of rebound and be one of those top teams in the group of 5. So that's the thing I love about college football, though. Till we kick it off, we don't know. So much can happen. I mean, the bottom line is we're talking about 18 to 22-year-old kids, and you never know how they're going to come out of the box.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot for jumping on again with us. Much appreciated, the ESPN college football analyst. And we'll look for you on that James Madison game in, what's that, about 3 weeks, right?
You got it. 3 weeks from today, 12 noon, ESPNU.
All right. Thanks again. Rini Angolia, ESPN college football analyst. Always great talking with him and hit a lot of topics in that segment. And Kenny, we'll wrap it up with baseball and best bets. We got a blowout at Wrigley Field, and we got a couple more. We got a game 2 in the Red Sox-Orioles doubleheader and a couple other big baseball games to talk about. And Greg Pigskin Peterson, is going to jump in with a couple of best bets as well as we wrap it up here on the Green Zone.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
I'm Brent Musburger, reminding you that the football betting season is here. There is nothing like it. Are you ready to celebrate the thrill of victory and cash a ticket even on defeats? Sharpen your edge now with the help of Matt Humans, Dave Tooley, and the rest of my guys in the desert. We'll get you prepared for the football season with exclusive handicapping stories and data that you won't find anywhere else. Go to vsin.com/subscribe for the package that makes sense for you, including a 1-week trial at no charge. Our new all-access subscription includes Point Spread Weekly, VSiN's digital magazine designed to make you a better handicapper and avoid the agony of defeat. You'll also get VSiN's 140-plus page college football betting guide, followed by our comprehensive pro football betting guide in August. Sign up now, vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe. Remember, cashing tickets is what it's all about.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
I did kind of alter my odds to win the Big Ten, but I had Ohio State minus 110 over the rest of the field. I made them even money. I lowered Michigan and Penn State. Again, not to cast too many aspersions. I'm not privy to facts other than what I'm seeing on Twitter or on TV. But to take it a step further, it is a school, and they're supposed to do the right thing, on many levels, not just winning football.
Yeah, Greg. This just came down about 2 or 3 minutes ago. Urban Meyer has been placed on administrative leave.
Well, boys, I got some work to do.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
For real, this actually is what happened. I mean,
this is what we have to do.
One thing that they look at is the percentage, and the Nevada percentage versus the European percentage. And I always used to say, I took my percentage down to the bank, but they wouldn't take it. They said they only take dollars. And that's what these guys really fail to realize. The European model has all sorts of, there's hidden percentage in everything that they do. And that's fine. It's worked well for them. The American market is totally different. And it's not going to go for some of that, I don't know if I could say it, but bull crap.
How much of an improvement will it be? Did I even read that you guys might even think they have a shot at contending for a playoff berth?
They absolutely have a shot of contending for a playoff berth. We have this projected as a top 10 defense. We do not have the offense projected well, but oh my God, is it going to be better than last year? Whether it's Taylor or Mayfield, and Mayfield has one of our best quarterback projections ever. If college performance means anything, and it does mean something, right? It's hard to project, but it's better to be coming out of college with good performance than bad.
I think the prudent, proper thing to do is to allow the teams that are in your state to be wagered on. And realistically, UNLV, we take very little action to the broad scope of things to UNLV. Over the last few years, and I don't know if that'll be the case here. I think some of the Mississippi teams could draw some really strong action, but it's the regional teams that are going to really draw strong action as well.
You are back in the VSiN Green Zone. Sign up for our daily newsletter and watch the show at VSIN.com. Now back to Las Vegas and the VSiN studios.
Final 5 minutes of a 3-hour Green Zone. Matt Humans and Kenny White, who has tweeted 44 times in his career. You've only got 44 tweets at K Whitey Vegas.
You're going to go home and do a couple tweets, or you're going to do some work on college football?
Greg Peterson will tweet for you. If you pay him $10 a week, he'll be your official tweeter. All right, so we have a blowout at Wrigley. The Nationals up on the Cubs 9-1, middle of the fifth. Zimmerman, 2 home runs for the Nationals. Murphy is also homered. John Lester has been rocked. Lester, 3 2/3, 10 hits, 8 earned runs, allowed 3 homers today. So if you bet against Lester, you're getting the cash today, barring a huge comeback, and it's not going to happen. Tanner Roark continues his trend of great pitching here, Kenny. Roark, 4 innings, 1 run. He's got an 8-run lead.
Yeah, he's pitched really well, pitching well. And you're right, I don't think he's blowing this lead. A doubleheader trend continues. Boston is at Baltimore. They win the first game. You're supposed to go against it. You can get plus, I think you can get plus $2.12. Yeah, $2.10 I see even out there. But they had a pitching change. Hector Velasquez now going for the Red Sox. 7-0 this year. He's 33 relief appearances. Most of his wins are in relief. but he's 7-0, has not lost a game for the Red Sox.
ERA of 2.5. Red Sox minus 240. Orioles with Ramirez on the mound plus $2. Like you said, the doubleheader trend. If you dare, take Baltimore at plus $2. Got shut out 5-0 in the first game. That's game 2 of Red Sox-Orioles. Mariners and Astros. Seattle won the first 2 in the series. Beat Verlander, beat Cole. And tonight, Seattle is a plus 180 dog. That's Wade LeBlanc, the lefty, against Charlie Morton. Any thoughts?
You know, it's just a pass game for me. Without 2 bats in the lineup for the Astros, Altuve and Springer, I think this price is just right. They do hit lefties well, but you're missing 2 big right-handed bats. Morton having a great year. Unbelievable. 2.81 ERA is xFIP 3.18, so it hasn't been luck. He's that good. One of the better fastballs in baseball, topping out 96, 97 on average, topping out at 99.
All right. How about A's and Angels? I think this is going to be a play for you. Edwin Jackson against Tyler Skaggs. And the Angels lefty is minus 120 at the Westgate, minus 125 at the South Point.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the better plays I think I have today. Even with Trout out of the lineup, this team's on a 4-game winning streak. Skaggs' last outing, he was rocked in Tampa, but the previous 50 innings, 1.42 ERA. I think he'll throw real well. Big pitching advantage, Skaggs over Edwin Jackson.
All right, best bets segment of the show. Kenny, what are your best bets? I think the Angels are going to be one, right?
Yeah.
What would you make this number if Mike Trout was in the lineup?
$1.77 I would have had it. I made it $1.52 with him out. I think that's one of the better bets. And, another bet in baseball, maybe the Cincinnati Reds tonight with Harvey on the mound getting a big price.
Reds are getting plus 140, right in that range, 145.
Yeah, 145.
145. So Kenny on the Angels and Reds. Greg Peterson, what do you have?
Well, I really do like this Dodgers versus Rockies game. I'm going to take the plus price with the Rockies at plus 130, and unders have been cashing like wildfire at Coors this year. It's 32 and 22 when you remove the pushes, so I'm going to go under 11 runs, and you're actually getting minus 105 on that pretty much everywhere you look. So that Dodgers versus Rockies game is one I really like.
I like that as well. Nolan Arenado out tonight, but I'll go ahead and back Greg up on that. Take the Rockies at plus 130, even without Arenado in the lineup for the Rockies. I like Freeland better than Walker Buehler in that spot. And I like Kenny's play on the Angels and Tyler Skaggs as well. I'm going to add the Arizona Cardinals tonight in the preseason game in the NFL. Half unit first half unit second half. Look for Sam Bradford and Josh Rosen to get it done. That's it for the Green Zone. We'll be back tomorrow.
This is the VSiN Green Zone on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Follow us at VSiN.com and SiriusXM Channel 204. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at VSiNLive.
I'm Brent Musburger, reminding you that the football betting season is here. There is nothing like it. Are you ready to celebrate the thrill of victory and cash a ticket even on defeats? Sharpen your edge now with the help of Matt Humans, Dave Tooley, and the rest of my guys in the desert. We'll get you prepared for the football season with exclusive handicapping stories and data that you won't find anywhere else. Go to vsin.com/subscribe for the package that makes sense for you, including a 1-week trial at no charge. Our new all-access subscription includes Point Spread Weekly, VSiN's digital magazine designed to make you a better handicapper and avoid the agony of defeat. You'll also get VSiN's 140-plus page college football betting guide, followed by our comprehensive pro football betting guide in August. Sign up now, vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe. Remember, cashing tickets is what it's all about.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
A guy wants $10,000 on the Falcons to win the Super Bowl. Without hesitating, I said, yeah, good, fine, write the ticket. So I turned my back. I was talking to Shelly some more. And then the guy started waving. He said, no, I don't want it. And he said, I think I can get better odds somewhere else. Well, why would you come to the counter, you idiot? If you wanted to make $10,000 bet, and then we said, okay, and then he changed his mind. Let me tell you why. Because he didn't want to make that bet anyway.
He just wanted to hear it.
He just wanted someone to say, no, we can't take it. I'm telling you, I've been around this crazy racket my whole life. Vincenzo knows exactly what I'm talking about.